Derivative Jill.
There she is. There she is.
Welcome to Jill's.
Saddle up. Lock and load. Saddle up. Lock and load.
Wrong microphone. Now you guys can hear me. Hello and welcome to Plomeek Teatime number 78. Although I don't really know how welcoming this live stream is going to be because because we're talking about Star Trek Insurrection and everything everything it entails from start to finish and what it means to us. We're going to cover everything about this movie, what we love, what we don't like, what we hate, what we think does not make sense, what parts we think are fun despite what it is. I have to say, every time that have reviewed, I've reviewed every one of the real Star Trek movies, the 10 movies, and every single time I'm so excited to get the slides done to take screen caps of everything. But for this movie, as soon as I put it on, 5 minutes in, I thought, "I need a nap." And I took I took a nap before I got to it. Because uh, but when it comes to real Star Trek from 1966 to 2005, there's always something good to find, even when it's something I just don't enjoy as much like this one. But I do think it's better than Star Trek Nemesis, so there's that. And I want to welcome my panelist here. I have Dan Leckie. He's a more recent friend that I've made here on YouTube, and he's been fantastic. He's been able to introduce me to some really cool people, and so he's super cool too. How are you doing today, Dan?
Hi, Jill. Good to speak to you today. Looking forward to the discussion about Star Trek Insurrection.
Yes, good. I'm glad you're here. But I also want to say hello to the panel. Also, I also met somebody through you too, which is Philip, and he's been talking to me about For All Mankind episodes, which is I'm really grateful for, and I'm glad you're here today too to talk about Star Trek. How are you?
Of course. I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Wonderful. Well, basically, this movie is what happens when you take a mediocre, maybe mildly entertaining TNG episode and turn it into a movie.
I caught your review of the season 2 premiere the other day. I thought that was really cool.
You liked it. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that was good because it was a good opener too. I
Mhm.
did like how it threw all that history at you. And oh yeah, Scotty's in the chat. He's late, but he's arriving shortly. And I figured we could get started, and he'll be here soon. And I was
Cool.
correct. Oh, and Gorilla's Random Thought says it wasn't an insurrection. At most, it was a fiery but mostly peaceful rebellion. So that's the first chat we have here in the chat. And he also sent me this in video form. He would like me to play it, and so I shall.
Hey, how many times do I have to tell you? It was not an insurrection. At most, you maybe can call it a fiery but mostly peaceful rebellion.
And I know it's like he's kind of making a political joke there, but that's okay. That's Gorilla. He likes to have fun. And I'd like to say hello to DJ Playnice, Gavin Blackburn, Matt G, otherwise known as
Everybody.
Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, MCU, and Doctor Who. Franco Walker, the incredible moderator. Please subscribe, hit the bell, share, hit the like, and select live chat. Yes, I hope if you enjoy listening to discussions on Star Trek and what I think gets, well, it's a pretty common opinion that this is basically a two-parter TNG episode that's extended and padded, but I think it's pretty much quite a bit of a mess. But like I said, it's better than Nemesis, and I want to talk about it. And then, of course, we have the classic Bad Admiral story, which we first started getting in the TOS movies. So, so what's your history with watching the Insurrection? And as people join the panel, I will ask this question again to make sure that everybody gets to tell how how they first watched it, because I didn't see it in the theaters, even though I could have, because it was released on December 11th, 1998, just as I was becoming a teenager, but really, people weren't encouraging me to go to Star Trek movies, and I guess I didn't. I've said many times before, I discovered TOS on CBS.com. Obviously, you can't watch it there now, but I could back in 2006, and that was it. That I had to see it all, and I figured out how to do that, and I did. Pretty much within the span of an entire year, I just binge watched all of Star Trek. And so that's how I came across this movie. How did you first come across Insurrection, and do you remember your first impressions? And if not, like, as I explained, please explain briefly what you think about the movie. Dan?
Well, I know I've seen every single Star Trek film since Star Trek 6 on Discovered Country at the movie theater or cinema. But I don't particularly remember this one. I do remember like seeing it on DVD and like a special edition DVD coming out, and so it was really cool that Jonathan Frakes had recorded an audio commentary for that special edition DVD for this film.
Right, Jonathan Frakes with Marina Sirtis,
Yeah.
together, right. And you listened to that commentary recently?
Not recently, but when it came out.
Okay, I think, one of the ways that Scotty R37 prepares for my live streams is to watch commentary, and he said he was going to listen to that one. I'm not sure if
Cool.
he did it, but we'll see.
Mm.
And what about you, Philip?
Actually, it was my first Star Trek film that I ever saw in the theater was First Contact. So when Insurrection came out, I was like, well, this is my second opportunity to see a Star Trek film on the big screen. So I went with my dad. My little brother was still a little too young, so I was like 6 years old when I saw it. And it was, I don't know, like I didn't think it was like as bad as people say it is, because I feel like it's. I mean, I think all the next gen movies are really not like, Citizen Kane or something, but I think that the first three are at least entertaining and at least watchable, whereas I can't defend Nemesis and I won't. But when I saw the film at the time, I was just I don't know. We were watching next gen episodes and I think Voyager episodes at the time, so it was kind of like nice to have like a next gen episode on the big screen. So I felt like like that was a nice thing. And then you know the stuff that I have problems with now is definitely not what I had problems with when I was a kid. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see what my mindset was back then, which is when I'm a kid, I'm not really looking at like thematic elements. I'm not looking at you know anything kind of deeper than that. But now as an older, an adult, I can definitely see a little bit more stuff. There's a little more for me to grab onto as an adult than there was when I was a kid, but I still felt that Insurrection was pretty watchable and entertaining, even if it wasn't what First Contact was, which was sort of more of like an action romp in some ways than this one tried to be. But 'cause, I mean, this one has some action scenes in it, but I guess I kind of reiterate what people say about these movies, where it's kind of like 50, 60-year-old actors trying to be action heroes, and from a show where it wasn't an action show. And that's kind of always been my disconnect with the TNG show as versus the TNG movies. So that was my mindset.
And
As it,
oh, yes. And I think that's really wonderful that you have that perspective of having seen it as a child, having, not as much, criticism towards it because you were getting into Star Trek and really enjoying it, and the movie didn't offend you too much. And so and also that you can have that perspective of when you were a kid versus how you think about it now. So I'm so glad you're here. And I agree with that point, that last point. But that was basically Patrick Stewart saying, "I want to be an action star and have a romance," and that's this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm going to add to the panel, Scotty R37. Welcome. I'm so glad you can
Hello.
make it.
I am surprised I made it, but thank you for having me.
Of course, of course.
It's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you, Phil. I don't think we've ever met.
Hey. No, I don't. I think we just met through conversations. But
yes,
hey, Scotty.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got here just at the perfect time because we're discussing our first experiences with this movie. But before I let you start, I want to make sure to say hello to Jim's Landscape LLC.
Hey, Jim.
And Maddie's daddy, Steve M, is here. How are you?
Maddie's daddy.
Yeah. Dan, look, he's awesome.
You know what? Everyone asks about Maddie's daddy, but no one ever asks about Maddie. How's Maddie?
That's a good question. I do know she had a doctor appointment recently.
I thought Maddie was a doctor. Anyway.
In training.
Yes.
Hey, hello, Booger 414.
Booger.
Yeah, you say that right here.
I have a request because you and I have been going down the WKRP in Cincinnati rabbit hole. I was wondering from the first episode of WKRP when Dr. Johnny Fever says, Booger, can we get a clip of that? So whenever Booger shows up.
Okay, yes, you got it. But also hello to Suzanne. Really wonderful to see you. How's it going?
Suzanne.
No one can defend Nemesis. That's not true. You've got to actually. Were you there for the Nemesis live stream? There was. I had one guest on there who I had to have for Nemesis. That was King Dolphin Raymond, and he can defend Nemesis.
Well, and the thing is that when Picard season 3 came out, and people were like, obviously it was a very divisive season of television. Some people hated it because it was still continuing on with Kurtzman Trek and whatnot. And some people thought it was, a return to form of sorts. And so Clobby every week would be like, he would tweet the same GIF. And it was like, it's garbage. And every time he would do that, I would say, well, Picard season 3, still better than Nemesis. And he was steadfast. He was like, no, Nemesis is better than Picard season 3. And
agreed.
I was like,
it's
you're
over.
wrong.
For one thing, it's over much faster. But if you want to hear our discussion on why I think, even though I don't like Star Trek Nemesis, I can't defend it, but it is way better than Picard.
I would rather watch Star Trek Into Darkness than watch Star Trek Nemesis.
There's
Dune
10
buggies.
hours of garbage.
Dune buggies.
Less than 2 hours of garbage.
I can forgive the Dune buggies, but aside from that, I can't.
I love both movies. Nemesis is my favorite Star Trek film of them all.
Oh man, I'm gonna arm wrestle you and lose.
Yeah, probably. No, Dan is really great because he can find the good in a lot of things.
No,
Gavin
but I'm
Blackburn
saying Dan's stronger than me. That's all.
Oh, that's true too.
Yes.
And the greatest thing about this movie is Mr. Plinkett's review of it. Yes, very, very, very good. Advertising for Tostino's pizza rolls.
Yeah. I mean, that one, the Plinkett review doesn't even go that hard on, Insurrection. I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, I love a lot of the stuff that the Plinkett review says that I might reiterate here when the time comes, but yeah. Everybody has their favorites. Everybody doesn't.
A real true blue Star Trek fan. He's really wonderful, and even when he's making fun of it, it's done with love, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say the same with him in Star Wars though, but yeah, I'll take him on Star Trek.
Oh, okay. Well, he did kind of destroy all of his toys in a vat of acid, so there's that.
Yeah.
And good riddance.
Yeah.
Well, what was it they did? They did a what was it, that Silver Fox monkey? He did a funeral for a franchise recently, and I thought that
Hey,
we
hey,
already
hey,
did that.
hey! We don't need to call people monkeys on my show, but
I'm a monkey. I'm a monkey,
you can
and
call yourself
so
a monkey.
okay. Anyway,
Like, what
and
if I
so
get to be friends with people and things?
I wouldn't go to his parties. But and the thing is that I thought we already did the funeral when Mike put all of his action figures in acetate. And it was a glorious video. If you haven't seen the melting of the figures, it's better than Star Trek Nemesis.
Well, yeah, I agree. Booger 414 says making Picard an action star flies in the face of the basic premise of TNG and Riker going to the planet's form. Yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
because Picard's supposed to be academic, diplomat, and
Yeah.
a
I
statesman.
mean, I'm going to go so far as to say Picard is supposed to be, at his essence, a very boring man that only does like book stuff.
Mhm.
Whereas Patrick
yeah, and he's
Stewart
supposed
is
to be
not.
kind of an introvert too.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Like,
you know,
to put it in
you're saying something?
Indiana Jones terms,
Mhm.
Patrick Stewart is supposed to be Marcus Brody, and Riker is supposed to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I can go with that.
Pie is here. Hello, Lemon Pie.
Lemon.
And I want to say hello to Max Redstone. He says, hey, all, I'm running out a few errands. I'll be back at my computer screen, and I hope I'll be able to jump on the panel. By the way, Scotty is classified as a monkey.
True story.
All right. So speaking of Scotty R37, please tell me about your first experiences with Insurrection and a brief overview of what you think about the movie.
I saw it on opening night with my friend Paul. We were both huge moviegoers. I watched it, and it was the first time in a movie theater that I exclaimed to the audience that I hate this movie. Like at the end of it, I believe I said some vulgar things. Something along the lines of that was like an HJ without release. And I did not like it. And my friend Paul, he was like, come on, Scott, it wasn't that bad. And then later on, I met my friend and producer over at the Phantasmagorium, and one of the first shows we did was rating all of the Star Trek movies, and Steve likes Insurrection. And up until that point, I was like, well, it is better than Nemesis, but do I like it? And the answer was, upon revisiting, yes. It's just a strange film for me. It's kind of similar to First Contact in that I like First Contact, but I like everything with Riker on the planet, and I don't care about the Borg stuff on the ship. This is the opposite. I like everything with Riker on the ship, but I don't care about the Sona and the Baku on the planet.
Yeah, I thought that was a really great explanation of that. And wow, we went to the movie theater with you. That was cool.
Yes.
I could hear you get your frustration after that movie. Very well done. In this movie, Enterprise, the Enterprise has to rebel against. Well, see, I have a hard time believing that the Federation is bad, like this bad. Like they can make mistakes. They've made mistakes before with the Cardassian border and all of that.
So simple
But
and naive, Jill.
no, I'm not. No,
You
I'm not.
are. They've
this
literally
crazy.
done this twice
But
before in the show.
Okay,
Well,
I know
mean,
that, but it's been more of a political kind of a war-based kind of.
Well, I mean, when Picard was involved, it was only a difference when there was hot, lady woman that he was interested in. Then he changed his tune, and then,
as Liam Shaw says,
yeah,
I wasn't the one who broke the Prime Directive so I can get some Sona Poontang.
Exactly. He gets it. That's why they say it's actually Star Trek His Erection, not Star Trek Insurrection.
That's good. I hadn't heard that before. That's great.
Actually, I think that's in the Plinky review, but it's true. But
oh my god. Okay. Anyway, I I prefer Star Trek 6 the way that Star Trek 6 made just a small segment of the Federation, like a rogue segment of the Federation that were corrupt. And so I wish it would have been clear that there was that kind of thing going on here, rather than
Why?
it being the entire everybody's just totally down to toss people out of a planet for really no good reason whatsoever, because there's a
What are you
scene
talking
later in this
about?
movie. There's a scene later in this movie where Picard says, "We don't really need the Sona. We can figure this out ourselves. Sure, it'll take a little longer, but that's what we do. We're explorers. He maybe doesn't say it like that, but he essentially says all of the things that we do not have to rush this. We do not have to do it this way." And they didn't. They really couldn't. This could have been like Rise of 2, you know? And
No, I disagree
Or
with you wholeheartedly.
okay, fine. But we'll
First things
we'll,
first. First things first. The
sure.
Baku are a warp-capable society that decided to go all Amish. They are
Mhm.
not subject to the Prime Directive. The Federation is not doing
I didn't say
anything
they were.
wrong. They found
Yes, they
a
are.
resource, and they are attempting to mine that resource. And the only thing standing in the way is some Mennonites who don't like us.
I mean, it's the
Mennonites.
J.C. Penney spring catalog people versus the Beverly Hills, staple
I
and
get
cut people.
I get the argument that, oh, okay, this could save billions of people and totally break the universe,
Billions!
because now people can be immortal. But all I'm saying is,
Not
murdering
immortal,
an
but
entire planet, displacing a bunch of people. It's
Benjamin
pretty sad.
Sisko destroyed the biosphere of an entire planet because he
Yeah.
was pissed off at a guy.
But you know what happened? You know what though? There was nobody on the planet. I know it made it.
No,
I
they
know
had
it
to
was a
evacuate. There
potential.
were people on the planet.
Oh, there were people on the planet.
Yes.
But they did. Yeah. Oh shit.
And
Yeah.
Cisco would
See that?
probably do
I
it
didn't
again.
like that either. And I didn't like
And
that either. I thought that
he
was
could
awful.
live with it.
Exactly.
Oh man, that I have all kinds of problems with that episode also. For
This
the
is-
same
this
reason
is-
as this.
This is a funny thing because this is a conversation that you and I get into
And-
quite frequently, is that I think that there is sort of the halcyon days, the golden era of the Federation. And once we get to the Dominion War, all bets are off and humanity starts poking its ugly head back out. And it's unfortunate. It's like Quark says, when they're happy, humans are great. But you take away their sonic showers and their replicators, they are more feral than the worst Klingon.
Okay, so
And that is what the Dominion War did to the Federation.
But at least with even I'm not exactly, I don't like that Cisco did that, but at least in that case, that was another case of this is a war and he's making command decisions. In this case, it's Starfleet saying, let's make best friends with these slave drivers and drug dealers. And that's just not something I think the Federation would ever do.
Yeah, let's not forget the Sona were making Ketracel white.
Exactly. That's what I meant by drug dealer. I should explain that to the people. Mark Harkness says you have a whole planet and the Baku are in one village and they stay in that village. No, moving them was not required. Yeah, right. And
no, because once you harvest the metagenic energy from the rings, it would make the planet
uninhabitable.
That's right. Right.
Yes.
So you did have to move them. They didn't kill them, which is nice.
Yeah. But the Star Trek has a better way of handling this. There are better ways. This was just a rough and tumble action movie where, oh, we got to have this now, and here's the reason.
Action movie, because I think I was thinking like this film for me, I don't think has enough action in it. Like I come to think of it, like I do remember seeing it when it was on, on the big screen, and I remember like even from the start, like I didn't know why they went for the choice of it's got such a soft sort of start. You hear the music, compared to like First Contact. where it's all dramatic and
yeah,
aboard the
and
warship
fair
and
enough.
stuff.
That's probably why I needed a nap soon after trying to start screen capping this movie. So just to the Enterprise is has to rebel against Starfleet, obviously, because the movies made them evil, and to steal because they made a deal with Sona to steal the Baku planet because it basically produces the fountain of youth. That I can't stop it because I'm trying to describe the movie and I can't even get through my description. And it isn't I think it's sad that Starfleet would do this. And we don't know if it's a rogue segment, but I hope it is.
No,
Like I said, it was clear in Star Trek 6, but not here. So
Well,
it makes everything completely unbelievable to me. And so
this is post Dominion War at this point because
it's right in the
they
middle.
say
of the
that it just
War.
happened. Well, I mean, I forget what started it is or if they have
the
one,
only the only thing that really and this is something in the movie is we don't really get an idea as to what the hell is going on, because I think this is after the end of Deep Space Nine. Worf is supposed to be the Federation ambassador to the Klingon Empire, but he shows up on the Enterprise and Picard says, "Mr. Worf, what are you doing here?" And then they cut away and he never explains what the hell he's doing on the Enterprise. It's amazing. It's great.
No, they're just kind of like, oh, he just showed up. Hey, why don't you join us? Stay here.
Yeah.
We're not going to take you back to Deep Space Nine. Just keep hanging out.
I mean, there is more of
really
a clean. There's more of a clean entry with Worf in First Contact, and there's two of the films where they have to call back to Deep Space Nine and Worf's connection to them. And yeah, Deep Space or First Contact handles it better, but in Insurrection, it's kind of in a general idea area where it's kind of like, we can't really address, Jadzia being, killed, or we can't address really what's going on in the Dominion War because they're currently, I think, writing that season, because I don't think Deep Space Nine ended until I think that following summer, if I'm incorrect. But
that's right. That's why this movie does take place during the Dominion War, and that's why there's this whole song and dance at the beginning of the movie where
that's right.
The Enterprise
trying to get allies.
is doing they're dancing with aliens or something to bring them into the Federation.
Yeah, there's a line about,
so we can fight this war.
There's a line where several species are said to smell the scent of death on the Federation, and one of them is the Dominion. But also, I was thinking about how you're displaying a screenshot of, it says the Rick Berman production, and he deliberately didn't really want to get involved with Deep Space Nine at that point of the show's production, even though he co-created the show, because of the Dominion War, and he didn't really like the aspect, and he just let Ira Steve Berg on with that and the show's writing staff. So there's that aspect from the behind the scenes production.
Yeah, so many people were so busy doing all this other Star Trek stuff that it was basically just Michael Piller and Rick Berman. Yeah, but it was basically mostly Michael Piller making this movie.
Well, there is. Did you got the book? You got the book that I
did get the book. I didn't get the chance to read all 100 pages or anything.
Right. But I'm just I know people don't like Rick Berman, and I know that Michael Piller is kind of like the Gene L. Kuhn of the next generation. These two guys learned Star Trek from Gene Roddenberry, and I think that they, no matter what their behind the scenes controversies may happen to be, more so Berman than Piller, I think that they really very well carried the torch for Star Trek. And no matter what your controversies or opinions of Rick Berman may be, I think that Rick Berman has been a guardian of Gene Roddenberry's vision. And we don't have one of those now. I would say probably the closest we have is Terry Matalas, but that's up to you.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I would not go that far about putting Terry there. He's like he likes the movies, but he's not so good with the TV shows. So I can't really fold him in the way I do with Rick Berman, Michael Pillar, and everybody else who actually I do know Terry was involved in Enterprise and all that, but he wasn't. I don't know. I have problems with him, but everything else he said, I pretty much agree with. I think that the people who created 90s Trek did understand Gene Roddenberry's vision, even when they rebelled against it. And what kind of children don't rebel against their parents? And so I don't mind it sometimes. And I wanted to think,
what kind of an idiot dyes his beard purple?
And the craziest thing is, if you go to a Star Trek convention, people will cosplay as our Stephen Beer.
If I could grow a beard, I would dye it purple.
Well, at the Star Trek Las Vegas convention, he was there. Ronald D. Moore was there. I actually saw Ira Stephen Bear, but I didn't see Ronald D. Moore. I was trying to go to a panel with Ronald D. Moore, but he wasn't there. Well, I wasn't able to get to the panel. But there's also a few other Star Trek Next Generation writers there that I wish I could have got a chance to talk to, but it was just so. It was kind of overwhelming for me, that convention. But yeah, in terms of Berman Trek, I mean, I do think that it does hold a special place in my heart, because that's when I first started watching, was when Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and even Enterprise were airing, is kind of my era that I kind of I identify with the most. But when it comes to the Kurtzman era, I mean, it's kind of all over the place, with just so many different showrunners doing their own little thing with it, and there really isn't like a chief to manage everything. And that's, I think, what the franchise needs. And Kurtzman is just kind of I don't even call him a manager. I think he's more of a supervisor, where he's kind of like, okay, you do that, and you do this, and then whatever happens, let's just throw it at the wall and see what sticks.
Basically, he has his own message he wants to convey, and he doesn't really care about what Star Trek meant in the beginning. He basically pretty much admits that Star Trek is only just a platform for his own ideals. But
that idea of letting other people get on with it is, very much like what is, talked about to do with like Rick Berman in Deep Space Nine at this point.
And it's Roberto Orci was the Star Trek fan out of everyone in the production group, and for some reason Orci got kicked to the curb, and he was the only one who really cared.
He ranted at the Star Trek fans.
Oh, did he? What did he say? Yeah. I didn't hear this.
There was an incident.
There was an insurrection?
There was an incident. He lost his temper with Star Trek fans, basically.
Yeah, well, so did Patrick Stewart, but I guess he's, front and center, so whatever. So did William Shatner did it in 1985, and no one really cares.
Well, because he did it on Saturday Night Live and made it fun.
Yes.
Bubba Doom, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, "Hail to the fellowship. I'm lurking while working. I hope y'all are well. I'm sorry, but did the Sona get sold of Beverly in season 3 of Picard?"
I don't know. Well, I did notice that her boobs were firming up.
Okay. There you go. There's your answer, Papa.
Focusing on what's important.
Yes.
Oh, well, if you want to explain further in the chat of Bubba Doom, you can send in regular chats, and I
you can do it for free. It's fine.
For free. Yeah, I'll still read them. That's a secret.
Yes. Big shout out to LeVar Burton. Thank you for playing this title card. I love LeVar Burton. Take a look. It's in a book.
Reading Rainbow. I do want to play. Before you tell us what's really cool, I do need to play a clip for Bubba Doom. I just was having the trouble trying to figure out which ones to play. I'll just play these.
Disruptive.
Rock and roll. 6.
Well, no, that's good. Oh, okay. Now tell us what's really cool.
Well, Scotty mentioned a book. Which book were you referring to?
There is a book by Michael Piller, and it's basically
Okay,
a recollection of the
Yeah,
writing.
Fade In.
Yeah, it's called Fade In.
That was
And
available.
no,
like-
it was never published. It's available online.
Well,
Like, I
the
should
thing
actually-
is,
I should-
it was available for a number of years. It was actually released by chatcore.com years ago.
Okay.
More recently than that, because there was copyright issues with it and stuff like that when that was going on. More recently, Michael's widow, Sandra, who I'm friends with, has released it more officially and released it online, as you say, but through her website. But there are two books to do with Star Trek Interaction, personally, that I find really interesting to do with the production of the film. That being the first, and the second being a book called, there's one called Star Trek Action that went into basically for Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Star Trek Interaction. Like, they chose one scene from each of those productions and went really in depth with them. It's a really interesting book. I really recommend it.
Absolutely.
I'd recommend it. It's really great.
Well, and it is, like, I know that a lot of people sort of get touchy, and maybe that's not even the right word for it, but people respond to Patrick Stewart and him wanting to be in more creative control. And the Fade In is such an interesting perspective, because you're not talking about, like, from the onset, you're not talking about the character of Captain Picard. You're talking about the ego of Patrick Stewart and the perspective of him in the midst of a career. And you get to see you get to read about the interactions to develop this story. The initial story is, I think, great. Where we get to in the final film, I think, is okay. But it's just that negotiation of ego and creativity that is fascinating. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
I need to check it out.
I was thinking about how, like, his ego drove so much of the Picard action sort of stuff that you talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Take a look. It's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can't. Come on, someone say something else.
Can go anywhere.
There you go. Thank you for almost singing. That was almost singing.
I think
I
there's
love
one
Green Rainbow, but I have to before you continue, I have to say tomorrow Cinema Gulp is going to release a video about Alien as a lead up to the release of Alien Romulus. And
Yes.
I'm in it. And Ben asked me to talk about it. So I'll talk about it later too. But
Gorilla, Gorilla, you should watch this video, because you need to buy at least 5 lottery tickets. I have never seen Jill more drunk.
yes, that's true. Well, and also, yeah, it'll be good. But before we get into these weird, creepy, face-peeling people, we first see an idyllic agricultural community, this Boku planet. There are aliens for this movie. They look human.
And browns. Beiges and browns. I'm going to reference Mike so much in this.
You sure can. That's great. I love him.
He put it right. JCPenney spring catalog, people.
Sorry.
Well, and Brogu, not Brogu, but hello to Brogu. But Booger says, I did not like Geordi gaining vision. That changed the character for the worse and destroyed a tribute to a fan. And yeah, that's right, because Geordi was supposed to
it's temporary, right? It's not permanent.
Yeah,
temporary. There's one particular scene in this film that really pisses me off, which is Picard talking about how he feels the misalignment of the sensors, and like watching that, I'm like, do we really need that? Like, what does that add to the story? To me, it really doesn't add very much. But
remember in Relics, when
I'm gonna,
Scotty
I'm gonna, I'm
says,
gonna have to go,
sorry.
but I hope you, wish you the best for this review, and thanks for having me for the short time.
"Oh,
Take
Dan,
care,
no
everyone.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know you had to leave early.
Yeah,
Okay. That's okay. Is everything all right? Is everything
yeah, just really
going?
busy.
Oh, okay. You're just busy. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
thank you for stopping by. Is there any last things that you want to say about the movie before you go?
I do enjoy it in the whole. And my first article for the official Star Trek magazine is due to come out later this month. And yeah, I'll watch back this review because I think it will be great. It's been
Thank you.
enjoyable so far. So thank you for having me, and
For
bye for now.
sure. And is there anything you want to share that you're working on? I guess the magazine
Yeah,
or
uh,
article on internet magazine. That's how old
yeah.
I am.
It's an interview
Okay.
with the actors from Star Trek Picard. That's done.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm looking
nice.
forward to it, sir."
Okay. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye,
Later,
Dan.
Dan.
Here's his link tree. He has links on there and stuff.
I
He
always
does a
feel like
lot
it's
of
my fault.
he does like a lot. He does a lot of things online. No, he said he's busy. But I think
Right.
somebody was mentioning the misalignment. I'm not sure who that was.
Well, it was
Mentioning
the
that.
misalignment of the sensors, and I thought that was an interesting callback to Relics,
Mm.
where, like, when Scotty says, "On my Enterprise, I could tell what speed we were going by the feel of the deck plates." And I
Yeah. So,
liked
but why
that
wasn't that Geordie's line? Why does it have to be Picard's?
because he's the captain.
Yeah,
Don't
I
forget,
guess
like,
so.
we are talking about Patrick Stewart's ego here.
Mhm.
That's why he gets to that's why he gets to wear a singlet, is because he wants to show off his biceps and how awesome he is.
And do the
Mhm.
mambo.
And
Yeah.
Papa loves Mambo. True.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it. That was a good way
I
to
mean, it was one of
describe
my
that.
initial concerns about Picard was that when I'd heard that they were going to give more sort of attention to Patrick Stewart's, creative wishes, I was like, oh, that could go one of two ways, and I'm probably sure it's not going to go the good way. So that's why I won't defend season 1 of Picard. Or, I can forgive some parts of season 2, but I'm in the camp
No.
that like season 3. So.
I asked
Well,
for the complete Picard series on I asked for it on Blu-ray, but when I got it on DVD, I was like, okay, whatever. It's gonna be terrible no matter what. And so I watched season 1 of Picard. Not as bad as I remember it through the first one. I still haven't made it to season 3 because I've been trying my darndest to get through season 2, and I hate that season so much. And I love John Delancey. Can't get through season 2 of Picard.
I never made it past third episode. I was doing a review series, and that's where I gave up. It was right there. 3 episodes. I couldn't do it anymore. Basically anything after 2005, I just haven't found any love for. Mark
Oh,
Harkness
come on.
says
Star Trek
Insurrection.
Beyond is good.
Oh, we'll talk about it someday, Scott.
Someday. Well, that's been on the list for a while.
When I decide someday when I decide I don't like myself that day.
Well, no, it's gonna be one of my birthday streams. I'm gonna make you
Oh,
watch
there you
something
go.
that I want to watch.
Oh, my birthday. You gotta watch Stargate.
Oh, fuck. Sorry about the swear.
Stargate.
Yeah, he's never seen Stargate in any capacity.
For shame.
Praxis ripoff piece of shit.
What?
Okay.
No, they reuse. It's a Paramount picture, and so they reuse the special effect from Praxis blowing up. They use that at the end of Stargate.
Yes,
and I've never forgiven it.
I mean, there's because I've seen the same type of explosion in Armageddon and in I think
No, but
another
I'm-
Roland Emmerich joint, but
Okay,
Yeah.
so remember how in Star Trek Generations they reuse the same destruction of the Klingon bird of prey from Star Trek 6?
sure.
Same deal with Stargate. They use the destruction of Praxis in the finale of Stargate, and I've never been able in the trailer. So I'm never
I
forgiven.
guess I never noticed. I guess I'll have to watch it again.
And I never
but,
will. I won't
I don't
forgive
know.
them
I watch
for the death of my boy.
I'm more of a fan of
Doesn't hurt
SG-1
anybody.
Atlantis myself, but
Also, I hate
Yeah, me
Canadian
too. Me
television,
too.
so
But there's a lot of it. Mark Harkness
what, Canadian
says
television? Yes.
yes.
I don't
Mark
like any of it
Harkness,
except for the littlest
this
hobo.
So Mark Harkness, this is in my notes. He says, "Insurrection. Call it the Omega Glory. Take 2." Considering that,
I
according
never-
to STP season 3, the Baku planet couldn't help Riker's son.
Oh
I
my
mean,
stars.
not like the Baku would not make an exception
Mark
for someone
Harkness,
who
you have just
literally
opened my brain.
for someone who literally saved their society, but it didn't help. So guess the results were people live longer here because it's natural for them to. Well, yeah, that's the
that-
kind of the problem you get when you have something that's overpowered like that. Oh, everybody can just go to this planet and never die, and so there it has to be quelled in later future iterations. Like remember that
They're in the
thing
middle.
that could save everybody. Remember how 7 of 9's nanites or something saved Neelix from dying. Why don't we do that for everybody? No, it's only for Neelix in that one episode.
But I never even put the connection between this and the Omega Glory, and it's absolutely correct. And Mark Harkness, you learned me something awesome today. Thank you.
But
just needs
I
more
said it to you
Pledge of
last night.
Allegiance.
What?
We the people.
E
And the
Pablinista.
preamble of the Constitution.
Yeah. Well, okay. I know that wasn't the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have never found you more attractive because I don't know the Pledge of Allegiance off the top of my head. Again, Canadian. But for you to just know that, like, and because of course you know that because you had to go to school and you had to say it every morning, right?
I mean, it wasn't
right.
mandatory in California, but I know it.
But were there
I don't
little
know, I
kids
know.
who just sat down in class and didn't stand up? That's funny.
But then again, I know all the lyrics to "Oh Canada." It's not as
There
impressive.
you go.
Yeah, John Delancey's only in STP season 2 for about 7 minutes total. Yeah, he's just basically there to knock out Picard or whatever and die. or
No,
something.
they like I don't know what it is in season 2 of Picard. For some reason, I think that like Q becomes, amorous. He's angry and he's affectionate. There is no strong character for Q in Picard season 2. I love Q so much. Probably one of my favorite Star Trek characters of all time.
He is. He's one of my favorites too.
And then I
But-
watched Picard season 2 and it just sucks.
But this is not really Q. That's not really Q. None of this is real. BS2 Chipper, thank you so much for being here. Hello.
Well, and I wanted to address something that was said earlier in terms of Geordi getting his eyesight back.
I wanted to say more about that too, please.
Yeah, Geordi gaining his vision. What you consider in terms of the story, that's fine. And if you think that it was character assassination, I think that's excessive. But it reminds me, I think LeVar Burton gives his best performance in all of Star Trek in this movie. When he does regain, like watching someone cry out of sadness is like, okay, actors cry. But watching tears of joy, that's moving for me. And I think LeVar Burton pulls off tears of joy so well. It is one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's certainly better than I am the very model of a modern major general.
And
Which
it
comes
did
back in
have,
Mass Effect.
yeah, it did have that. It was all right. I did enjoy it, but the problem is they didn't carry it far enough for me. I think it would have been cooler if he had some issues with having normal sight. Like it's great and wonderful and everything, but he would be expecting to see something in infrared. Or I just wanted another scene where it kind of just he almost misses his visor in a way. He's like, oh, I can't see this spectrum band. I have to use my tricorder. Like just having a bit of a struggle with it, and then yeah, I would have. I don't know. I wanted that to be expanded a bit if he had to have that,
Well, I
even
mean,
just for one movie.
Gavin Blackburn says LeVar just didn't want to wear the hairband over his eyes no more. I'm like, so he hadn't worn those, I
So
think,
he's
since Generations. And that's
well,
like a
that
banana
just
clip
means
or something.
that just makes him sound more like a
So,
brat.
yeah. Well, I mean, they're able to cater a bit more to the actors in these movies than they ever did in the television show, and it kind of, I think, leads to some interesting outcomes. But in terms of like placating or kind of patronizing, Patrick Stewart and his ego, we end up with a lot of bizarre, stuff throughout the entire franchise, or in these movies. And I've made the argument that in First Contact, I mean, I think all these movies, Picard acts way out of character, especially in First Contact.
Yes.
But in this film, I'd say I wouldn't say he's closest to Picard here, but I'd say he's closer to Picard here than he was in First Contact. But even at this point, he's a little bit led astray because of J.C. Penney catalog, hot lady that is attractive to me.
Mm-hmm.
With
but I've said it before and I'll say it again. My favorite Star Trek: The Next Generation movie is Generations. I think everyone is closest to their characters, and I care about it all. It's a depressing movie because it's pretty much only about death. But
yeah,
I do think that Patrick Stewart was playing Jean-Luc Picard in that film, and after the fact, it was Patrick Stewart with a name tag that says, "Hello, I'm Jean-Luc."
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Since when does Picard allow his libido to make judgment calls for him? It's just really odd. And I want to thank
I love
Admiral
Generations
Teague.
too.
I have to thank Admiral Teague for this $4 super chat. That is so nice of you to send in this message. He wants to say, this stupid story equals a Nexus fever dream. Never happened, because Admiral Teague is of the notion that as soon as Generations happens and we enter the Nexus, that Picard never left it, and all of these movies are just his dreams. So that is that's an
Sorry, I'm paying
Reddit.
attention to my clock, and it says wrong.
Well, okay.
Wrong. You're wrong.
Hey.
You're wrong.
Okay.
You're wrong.
Scotty, come on.
No, but
Scotty.
I appreciate it. No, it's good. It's good. It's good. Come on. If I'm not going to be able to be catty.
Okay, but I mean, it's his opinion, and you have your opinion, and that's fine.
True story.
But I did.
That is true. Yes.
And I don't know.
Tell me about Star Trek V being a dream.
Well, I will. Okay. That one, I do believe that. See, I I can't judge Admiral Teague saying that all these TNG movies are a dream when I think Star Trek V is a dream. So even though I don't agree
it's
with
in that movie, row
it.
your boat. Life is but a dream.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Phil.
But Captain,
but
life is
I don't hate that
one. No, I don't
either. The comedy saves that.
Anyway, Teague,
right? Thank you.
I'm just clowning.
I know.
I'm just clowning.
Oh, where is it?
Because I'm a clown.
I wanted
You have a point there.
Oh, Boku Bones.
Oh, you know what? I wanted this one. I wanted also this one. Towards Star Trek. This is towards Star Trek Insurrection itself.
Yes, he's infuriating, sir. How can you stand it?
I am. I truly am.
All right, and Alec is absorbed into the Nexus and Generations. Yes, I do understand your theory on that.
But
And
that's also, and that's part of the reason why I was talking about LeVar Burton as well, in terms of his tears of joy when he regains his sight. I think that one of the missed opportunities of Star Trek Generations, and I think it's something that Walter Koenig said himself, is that he did an emotional breakdown when discovering Captain Kirk had died on the in the Enterprise B, and he was like, the worst thing that ever happened to his character was not being able to express the emotion of the loss of Jim Kirk. And I think that this is one of those things where I do appreciate being able to see Geordi be emotional about something that is personal to him. And I wish I had been able to see that with Chekhov.
Yeah, for sure. Mark Harkness says Picard certainly did not see Kirk, because if Kirk is seeing what he most wants in life, then it's not Antonia. If it's a woman, it's Carol Marcus, but really, it's the Enterprise Kirk wants. That's right. Yeah, he wouldn't be
I wish it
chopping
was.
wood somewhere. He would
I
be on
wish
the
it
bridge of
was
the
Gillian
Enterprise.
Taylor.
Or yeah, that's right. There's a list. It could be Miramani.
True.
Lots of women.
No, she's
above
dead.
Antonia.
But you can bring him back
this
on
is the
Nexus.
Nexus.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It is Never Neverland. I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Insurrection has story by credits for Rick Berman and Michael Piller, with the screenplay by Michael Piller. It was directed by Jonathan Frakes, who's returning director from First Contact, and you even see Patrick Stewart listed a couple of times as producer of this movie, which we've mentioned already a couple of times. How he had an influence in this film, how he even in this early stage has begun to inject himself into these productions. So Starfleet is investigating and studying the civilization in secret, the Baku. They're just supposed to be there for a week. They're using holodeck technology to hide. There's a lot of holodeck technology in this movie. They're doing this in accordance with the Prime Directive. They're hiding in any case because of that. And in addition, I hear some angry typing. God.
Yes, I was angrily typing. Anyway, I'm going to go have a cigarette. I'll be back in a second.
Oh my God.
Oh. What have you done, Joe?
I didn't do anything. I haven't. I promise I haven't. They're snooping. They're snooping on the Baku. And even if they did want to reveal themselves, they'd still need to make a good first contact impression, and I don't know. So there's this interesting idea that has never been shown before or never since, that Data, for some reason, if he can tell that the Federation or somebody near him um is detrimental, that his ethical subroutine will kick in, override his logic and sense, and say, "Oh no, these guys are bad, so now I gotta shoot up the place." I think it's an interesting idea, but does he have to does he have to take it to that extreme where he's just putting everybody in the line of fire, just the way in the way of just being extremely violent?
Yep.
I think that Data has the capacity of overcoming that kind of programming. It seems really odd that he just switches into killer robot mode. What do you think?
Yeah.
I wanted to know also what Scotty thinks.
Yeah,
But
no,
hopefully he comes back.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of strange. I mean, there's a lot of weird logical inconsistencies with the opener, because we know that they're a warp capable civilization, but they just kind of like stopped doing it. So
Right.
they didn't need
Like
to do it.
technology.
They just have needed to have anything to override his ethical subroutine. So it's like, I don't know. That's my.
Well, I think at this point, Data and nobody in Starfleet knows that they have warp drive. It's like a revelation later on when Picard finds out that they are warp capable because they seem primitive, and so they took that literally until they find out otherwise. But
I don't know. It's kind of
what Data
strange
knows
because
and what he doesn't know is really strange. Yes, agreed.
because the admiral, he kind of said, well, they have warp capability, so the prime directive doesn't apply, and so they had to have known that before they arrived, because it's kind of unclear how they even found out about the Baku planet to begin with. We only know that it's in the Briar Patch, so it would have been kind of harder to find after a while. So
Mhm.
yeah, I guess they only found them out through the Sona, but even then,
Yeah,
through
right, exactly.
inconsistent.
How is this information attained through Data's memory engrams?
Mhm.
Um, and then obviously the Baku somehow, even though they reject technology, they retain the knowledge of the technology that they arrived on the planet with, and somehow still have the capability of messing around with Data's memories. And for some reason, that messing around with the memories, uh, did that trigger this? So many things are confusing about this movie and how information is passed along, how Data figures this out. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Do
think
you
the
know?
movie's better when you think about it just superficially enough to where okay, this kind of logically could lead to the next thing, but then if you start kind of digging a little bit deeper into like the nuances of how things could have been, that's when I think a lot of it might break down, and that's not good at all.
Yeah, exactly. So, um, so Scotty, what do you think about Data going into full killer android mode because his memory's been messed with and he figured out the admiral is bad and Sona is also bad and everything, and so he's taking it upon himself to just like completely lose his mind and go crazy. Like
I'm okay that it
what?
just comes down to his moral subroutines. And that is the explanation in the film.
Yeah,
Is
but
he's
that's too simple
basically
for me.
well, yeah, no, but you're upset with how evil the Federation is in this movie, and Data is the one
Yes.
who fights against the Federation
Yes,
in this
and yeah,
movie.
no, yeah, and
He is
so
he
I
is
am
the
conflicted
original
about that, you're right.
insurrectionist.
You're right, you're right, and so a part of me does like that he goes against it, but that he has to be mindless in order to do it. Why does he have to be mindless? Why can't he rebel independently as a sentient being that we know he is
Okay,
via the
two things.
measure of a man?
Two things. First things first. He discovers the cloaked hollow ship. That is what triggers him. And then he gets
Yes.
shot or glanced like by a phaser fire, which is what makes him just revert to his basic morality.
Mhm.
I don't see a problem at all.
'Cause you mean okay. Did they say that he reverted back to factory settings? When
Yes,
did they say that in the movie?
like at the very beginning,
Really?
when
Oh,
they're
I need
trying to
to
figure out why he's gone crazy, they basically say, well, no, he just went to his factory settings, for lack of a better term. Actually, it's a
yeah,
really great term.
yeah, that's how you're describing it to me, but I don't remember that part of the movie.
Oh, sure.
Okay. I wanna say hello to
Scogli.
Skogli-san. This is the only TNG movie that I only watched once. Okay, so if this is, out of the box Data, then maybe I buy that a little more.
It's like when you turn Krusty Doll to evil.
And the Admiral's a
Bill,
bad man. Yeah, yeah, yes, we do have the tired old bad Admiral trope. Oh, dear.
what's his Dougherty? Admiral
Yeah.
Dougherty.
Dougherty,
Mhm.
Dougherty, because he's
This is the second movie that I've watched this week with that actor. Who plays Admiral Dougherty?
Is that Anthony Zerbe?
Yes. I watched License to Kill on Sunday, and I got to watch this one today. I love that actor. He was also in the Omega Man.
Yeah, that's the first time I saw him.
Phil, how many times have you seen this movie?
I think I've seen this movie. I think I've seen I've seen Generations, First Contact, and Insurrection. They're probably all like different varying levels, but I've seen it a lot. Nemesis, okay. I've seen significantly less.
Yes, I think I've seen and too many times. Also, I think I've seen Nemesis like 4 or 5 times. I've seen this movie probably 6.
Yeah, I think I've watched Nemesis like 10 times in the last 20 years. I've seen this movie
too many times. That's all I'm sure of.
Yes.
Sort of Poopus Cuber. He's here. Hello.
Poopus.
Yeah, it is kind of sketchy what kind of morals Data is employing here. It's really weird. I don't discount that this is something that's never been shown before, and it's really odd, but yeah, it's a thing.
I guess I
think
forgive
it would
it
be
too.
better for everyone if I didn't respond.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yes.
It's okay to have an opinion.
And it's okay. Right well, I mean, Data's shooting at children. How can this be a good thing?
He's not. He doesn't shoot at children.
Look,
what are you talking about?
Look right here. Okay. What is this? Is that
Show
not
me,
Federation?
Can you put up the slides? The slides are not on screen.
Okay. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? Okay, here we go. How long have the slides not been on screen?
Approximately 7 minutes.
That's not right. That's not right either. Hold it. There it is. See, there. Is that not Data shooting at children?
You know what? Now that I see the video evidence, yes.
Is that Data or is that the bad men?
No, the bad men aren't here right now. Right now, this is just Data.
Data killing children. He's Anakin Skywalkering all over the place.
Well, is he shooting at the children or is he aiming at invisible people?
What? Invisible people? What do you mean?
Because there's people walking around in little cloaked suits.
Yes.
That bridge has no safety rails. Gavin Blackburn wants to file a complaint with the town council.
With OSHA?
That's it.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Only if
I'm
he's
living with a bunch of cicadas.
Only if he's never created a proper restore point. You think he'd do at least one just before he installs the motion chip? Yeah, exactly, Mark Harkness. This was made in the 90s, and they should know about that kind of computing. I think that would make sense. Like Data would have securities in place to fight against being able, but I guess he was damaged, and that's the excuse. Oh, Admiral Teague had a theater going experience with this movie too. He walked out. Oh. Hey, Max Redstone
never walked out.
You walked out of Star Trek Insurrection, and yet you watch Star Trek Discovery ad nauseum. Your priorities are askew.
He does that for the benefit of
clicks. For clicks.
Yeah. Hey, Max Redstone says, I'm back at my computer and actually have tea.
Oh, nice tea. Good house.
Yeah.
Strike that, reverse it.
You're right. This is supposed to be Plomeek tea time, and I did not play my tea clips. I forgot. We can do that.
I wasn't here at the beginning. Can you play the tea?
Yeah, so yeah.
Can you spill the tea?
Can I offer you some tea?
Good tea. Nice house.
Would you make me some of that Plomeek soup?
Max Redstone is here.
Max Redstone, he is? Where is he?
He's in the chat. And
I said hello to him in the chat. Yeah,
he wants to play. He wants to play.
Yeah, well, the Max Redstone Are you a member? If you are, members have the link in the membership tab.
Are you really going to shake him down for $1
I'm
to
not.
be
I'm
on
not
the
going to shake him
okay.
down to $1 for $1. If he's not a member, I'm going to send him a link on his email or his Twitter. I
If
was
you
just
want to get a
wondering.
link, go to LinkedIn.
I'll.
That's where you get
I
them.
don't remember if he is or not. I think he is. That's
No,
why
but
I
I'd
said
love to talk to Max.
Mhm.
Yeah, the more the
No,
merrier.
no, it's not required to be a member to be on my panel. I just send the link out to anyone who is a member, so you don't have to ask for it if you're a member. Here, Max Redstone. Here he is. I'll send you a link also here. There you go. Oh, he made it. Here he is. Welcome, Max Redstone.
Hello. Hello. How's everyone?
Hello.
Hey.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I did not look in the membership area, so that was my foible.
For sure. I guess there's a point where there's no such thing as warp drive or the Feder- Wait, what? I don't understand. There's definitely warp drive. Oh, Scotty sends a super chat for $1. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's for Max. That's I'm paying.
No,
I'm paying for him to get on the Ferris wheel.
Scotty, I am a member. I just my foible was not looking in the membership tab. Because
so I wasted $1. Come on.
As Homer Simpson would say, I'm lazy. So
I wasn't asleep.
Relatable.
I was drunk.
Are you wearing a floor mat? I have misplaced my pants.
You'll have to speak up on wearing a towel.
All right. Well, but you sent a super chat, so I got to play you a video.
Huzzah.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
He's from Mars, officer. Whiskey does not affect alien beings.
Oh, I can't wait for our retrospective on WKRP.
We can just talk about the whole thing in one go. That would be fun.
In one go, yeah, totes.
Data purging his memory and rebooting from his
sorry.
protected backup memory core did not leave him blank. Yeah, I didn't think so either. I think we're just making stuff up to give excuses for a very bad film. And according to me, anyway.
This entire film is chock full of poor excuses. Wait, which camera?
Yeah, and we're helping. And so, Max, I asked everybody what their first experiences with this movie was, and I want to ask you that too. And what you thoughts on it?
Okay, hold on. I saw this in the theaters, and I like many Star Trek fans, was not as disappointed as I have become. I think I had sort of the Star Trek sheen, I was sort of Star Trek struck. You know, it's like, oh, it's a movie, but you do reflect on these things over the years, and you kind of realize, like I think I've said before and many times, that this movie, Insurrection, like all the other TNG movies, are just very poorly, if they were episodes, they'd be very poorly written. So that's why, a movie, as our dear departed friend Clobbering Times pointed out, Star Trek was not a vehicle for cinema. It was really a vehicle for television. Therefore, a good movie is, oh, wow, that's a really cool cursor, by the way. Therefore, a good movie is should be, it needs to be a really, really good episode. So like Best of Both Worlds could be a movie. But the problem was the TNG movies were just would be, if they were episodes, poorly written or not well written enough.
I still think that Star Trek Generations is good. And I think that half of First Contact is good, and I think half of this movie is good. And oddly enough,
that's really generous. Oh my god!
Half of this movie is good. Half of First Contact is good, and both of the reasons that half of both of those movies are good is because of Commander William Riker. Riker holds together the movies.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying it was all Shinto. I'm just saying I'm giving the macro, not the micro.
Okay.
I can agree with that. I think Clappy was right that Star Trek was meant for TV, and while there are good Star Trek movies, it is best told in the episodic format.
By the way, tea Earl Grey hot.
Oh,
there you go.
Nice glass.
Thank you. It's like I said, I've diverted away from coffee and energy drinks for dental reasons. And then ironically, I've pushed back a Monday dentist appointment to be on that 70s rock fans panel on War Games because it's one of my favorite movies.
Well, priorities are important.
Priorities. But
I'm in my ready room and I walk up to the replicator and I say, "Computer, can of Pabst Blue Ribbon, warm."
Well.
And so,
but yeah, this just this movie in general, I think you were saying something, this if I had to put my finger on one symptom of this movie, it offers really insubstantial explanations for the important plot points.
Yes, agreed.
Example?
So, give one example, and then we're going to move on with the movie.
They're gonna the Picard's dilemma is, oh, why am I kicking people off the planet? But then in Journey's End, he's taking the Native Americans off the planet, and Admiral Dougherty's like, there's something with it. There's something with the and the rings. They have to do this way. I don't know. I just can't.
Yeah, that's the pinnacle.
Your scientists can't figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Only these thugs, these drug dealing slave drivers can figure out this technology, but all of the Federation cannot.
But I will say one thing that was very novel in this film was a species of multi-species, of different species, multi-species, because they conquered different races, which is an interesting concept that gets brought up again in Star Trek Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's my take. Yeah. That's my wide take on it.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Teague says something
and I want to
interesting.
I'm so sorry. I just wanted to say hello to Rod Thunderheart, please.
Hey, Rod. Keep lifting, yo. But Teague says one. I'm trying to highlight it. Says one line in this movie could have cleared that up.
Yeah.
I never reverted to when I awoke at Daystrom Institute or something. This is a sloppy story. You know what? I agree with you, Teague. I think that there should have been one line of dialogue. And I have been an advocate for one line of dialogue just to clean up everything.
And that's
when
all
it comes
needs.
to Data, and it is always in reference to Tasha Yar going to Gavin. Like, I think that when Data got the emotion chip in Generations, the first word out of his mouth should have been Tasha. When like anytime Data is feeling emotions for the first time or being overwhelmed with emotion, he should be simping for Tasha Yar so hard.
Yeah. Why didn't in all that emotion? Why did you say, hey, Jordy, you know, I got laid.
Yeah.
Did you ever get into that Tasha Yar booty? Yar. You know,
Jordy, did you know I'm not a virgin? What happened? Do you remember Stardate 41235?
Oh yeah, we came on the Tsiolkovsky.
Yeah, no, I came on Tasha Yar.
Yeah, exactly.
Too much.
Somebody had to go there.
Yeah,
maybe.
Data did.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it happened. It happened. Thanks a bunch to the Naked Time, Naked Now, and inspired by the Naked Time.
But that's a
Just
thing.
couldn't
Like that's
resist.
a thing. People complain.
Wesley Crusher.
I think
he
the
took over the
TNG
captaincy.
TNG just took the title of the episode a little too
Yeah.
seriously.
People complain about modern Star Trek not being reverential to the old
I do.
Trek.
Fuck modern Star
And
Trek.
I think, but this is a thing, and you and I, we have a history with this. I've said this forever. Is like I think that even the old Trek, Berman Trek, 90s Trek, they weren't reverential to what had come before. And I don't know what it is. Like obviously they didn't use Nicholas Locarno from the first duty in Star Trek Voyager because they didn't want to have to pay the writer for using that character. And so that's why Tom Paris was created. And it's a matter, like there are so many like cogs, so many like moving parts that it's like, I don't know specifically why you didn't use that. Is it because you have to pay Denise Crosby every time you say Tasha Yar or Sela?
Well, I mean, it's the same kind of idea with that episode Conspiracy, where I think they were trying to tee up the little bluegill parasite
The
thing
stop motion
as like
guys.
the big bad. They were trying to do that, and then
they were going to be like the Borg, and that's how the Borg were basically born.
Sometimes it's cost. I mean, because they
didn't want to pay that writer for that either.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's just cost of the practical effects or special effects, because I've read interviews where I think it was Michael Piller was saying, you know, can we have a couple less phasers here, because those cost like a couple $1,000s each.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's something to be said for budget, but I don't even think that was all that much of a consideration at that point.
I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically. Then sure, it makes sense that the budget and having to deal with rights and who to pay what for what ideas, who gets is gonna have an effect on the storyline, whether it's ideal or not. And I read Booger 414 said, I read once that after a certain point in TNG, they made a point of not using canon. What?
That was actually early on.
Oh.
They didn't. Well, and
okay. I think
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, Booger. Is that they didn't want to rehash TOS, except for that's exactly what they did until after season 1.
Well, after he died. After Gene Roddenberry died, that's when they were like, "Oh, thank God!" Like that's when they got into interpersonal. That's when they got into interpersonal conflict. That's when, like, Ira Stephen Bear, again, another, pardon the term, acolyte of Gene Roddenberry. Like, he knew the rules, but as the old adage goes, you have to learn the rules before you can break them. And I think that Ira did it. I think that Michael did it. I think that, I think these guys, Rick did it. Once they were sort of not concerned with Gene looking over their shoulder all the time, they did expand Star Trek to something new and different.
I think, but the only reason that it works for me is because they were aware of Jean's vision. They were aware of these things, even if they rebelled against it and changed a bit after he passed. And
For sure.
And it's a whole different thing to want to bend the rules than how it is now, where they're just completely missing.
Yes.
And
except for
I
Star
want to
Trek
go
Beyond,
back
which is
to
actually good.
and I want to go back to Insurrection. It's in the beginning of the movie is just pays a tribute, I guess, to the fact that the Dominion War is happening. However, this movie only says it exists, and the Enterprise here is not having too much to do with it. Picard is just having to do diplomatic things, bringing new species to help fight the Dominion War, and I guess worlds might want to join the Federation for that protection that they get, and so it's a
well, you don't
it makes
necessarily
sense.
want to join the Federation because they're going to relocate you because of the rings in your planet.
Eugene Jafar,
Mhm.
I beg to differ. Those beads are going to kick some Jem'Hadar ass.
Yeah.
Oh, the beats.
Jafar.
Eugene
They've been
Jafar.
eating. They've been eating the chrysanthemums.
Wait.
I didn't know they were vegetarian.
Wait a second.
That wasn't in the list.
Admiral Teague is saying, I promoted your stream. I like when you guys stream together. Oh, okay. The Cardinals, not Cardinals, rest in peace. Canadian Spider-Man had a stream last night, and he to talk about the Dominican Republic. I think that's what it was.
Oh, the Dominican Wars.
The Dominion
Yes.
Dominion Republic.
The
Hold on,
Dominican
let me
Republic.
get it.
Hashtag Haiti.
Did I say that wrong?
Yeah, no, it's fine. We're all cool.
Yeah, I was right.
Hashtag,
The Dominican
nice
Republic.
beaches.
Okay.
Bitches.
Definitely
With some crab.
always worth it to mention Canadian Spider-Man. The Briar Patch
Daniel's
is a
hot
stupid
topic.
concept, but not so stupid. JJ didn't steal it for the space cancer around the X-Skull in TROS.
The return of
The rise of
Skywalker.
Skywalker.
Yeah, the rise of Skywalker.
The
See, that's
regurgitation
interesting.
of Skywalker.
But this is the thing: is that I was on a stream. I was just in the chat, and somebody was upset about The Last Jedi, and I was like, if you think The Last Jedi is worse than The Rise of Skywalker, yes, you're basic. Like The Rise of Skywalker is so much worse than The Last Jedi, but that's a conversation for a different stream. Meanwhile, back
I've grown
on
to
the
appreciate
Enterprise,
The Last Jedi, but yeah, the Enterprise.
Yeah, you started talking about Star Wars, and I was like, if we're not
Yeah,
talking
you
about
tuned
the
out.
original,
You always-
if we're not talking about the original trilogy, I do tune out. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no,
But
but I've seen your eyes glaze over when I start saying Wookiee, and you just get bored.
Oh no, he's okay. I'm okay with him.
You like furry? Are you a furry?
My only problem is that he, there's no subtitles. Even though the stupid people making the movie have subtitles, they just don't give them to us. Anyway.
No.
Well, region. Okay, so don't worry about learning about anything about Region Kuzar, because it's never going to be mentioned again. So it's just there's a lot of throwaway ideas here at the beginning, just like, look at us, we got to make it from here to there, and so we're stuck dancing with these aliens for a little bit and telling people we don't want to hear about their scientific research.
Regent Kuzar. Jill, do you know what the dance is? They cut the scene, but you know what the dance is?
Well, what's the dance?
Whoopa Gangnam Style. Whoopa Gangnam Style.
You know what? Yeah, I forgot to watch the deleted scenes. So if you guys know the deleted scenes, please do explain them to me.
I have not, but I'm just like, oh yeah, they were supposed to dance.
Because that particular song hadn't been invented yet.
Well,
oh, Gavin. It isn't outside of the Great Galactic Barrier. Star Wars is at the center of the galaxy with George Murdoch playing God.
But why does God need a starship?
What? Yeah, exactly. What does he need with a starship? It's crazy. Now,
well, first of all, they can't even make it to the center of the galaxy. It would take like 30 years for the Enterprise to get there. What is it?
No, they did though.
No, okay. Please,
but they did.
It was
billions and billions.
It was a
years.
dream. Oh my god, I'm smoking.
Everything is a dream.
But can't we talk about Insurrection?
Can we please just talk about Insurrection?
Okay, so this
we're having
is the
an
part
insurrection
of the,
right now.
Actually, I think we're having an insurrection against Insurrection because this is the part of the movie where I was taking screen caps and I just started.
We're either talking about Insurrection or we're going full Pepe Sylvia.
I got really drowsy taking screen caps of this movie, and I just passed out right before this scene of nastiness.
Yeah. Admiral, sit down. The girls will take 20 years off your face. Like, probably take 20 years off my life too.
So Dougherty is seeing that the Enterprise should not come to help with Data because obviously he doesn't want anybody coming to go see the bad things he's doing. So somewhere in between the Federation approving Dougherty's idea of destroying the Baku planet and actually doing it, he knows what he's doing is wrong on some level. If he's trying to hide from the Enterprise, he doesn't want the Enterprise to come see. There's the Briar Patch is just a lucky convenience of not being able to communicate with Starfleet, so you can't. There's a communications blockade in this Briar Patch. So Dougherty says we haven't fully identified the anomalies yet. It took us a day to relocate to an area where we could get a signal to you.
Jill, if this is the Briar Patch, where's Peter Rabbit?
And you know what? I think they just call it that just so that Riker can say it later.
Yeah, probably. I get the fact that it's just nasty space nastiness. So
yeah, like space goo. Yeah. Like it looks like Nebula.
It's space nastiness. I mean, it's nice that they say pockets of Metreon gas and whatnot, which is more of an explanation they give for the important stuff.
That's the thing about bad Star Trek movies is that it isn't interesting and that it's hard to stay on track. Yeah, it's a miracle that I did get enough screen caps to discuss this movie. So Picard sends the schematics for Data, and the Enterprise has to make it to Sector 414 because of course Picard is going to go save Data. I don't even know why was Data helping to survey the
why is Data necessary?
Yeah,
because we need an android. We need an android, but not with an emotion chip. And wait a second, they figured out how to take out the emotion chip.
Oh, well, Data can take it out, or Geordi can take it out.
Well, they couldn't in Generations.
Oh, they couldn't. He could turn it off. You could turn it off and on.
Yeah, but it's like, well, I mean, in Generations they couldn't remove it.
Okay.
So, anyway.
Well, that's a point. I don't see why though. However,
I don't know.
That's strange.
I don't know.
Like, is it like as soon as it's in, you've got to do? It's too ingrained in the system to take it out.
It is. It's one of those crap. It's one of the. It was. I think it was. It was either Geordi or Picard who said it. It was just one of those one-line explanations that just made it shit. So, and it's like, oh, well, Data's getting mad. Can we? Unfortunately, we cannot take out the emotion chip. It's like, why? Unfortunately, we cannot take out the emotion chip. Why? No one wrote a line for that. Unfortunately, we cannot take out emotion chip. Moving on.
Well, the problem, a lot of the problems are because they don't just put a line in there to explain a certain thing. And that's an example. That's a good example. But yeah, so they they're done with the diplomatic stuff. They're just like I'd like our guests to depart as soon as etiquette allows, and that's basically code for we want to show you what the Enterprise has been doing, but it really doesn't have anything to do with this movie. So let's get rid of
Yuchin
this.
Shafor, Regent Cusa, thanks for the beads. Get out.
And so they're gonna help Data, and it's just really weird. It's
Yeah.
and it's fine. It's weird and it's fine, I guess. At this point in the movie, you don't know. Obviously, there's no spoilers here. We're all Star Trek fans. We know the end result of this movie. Who these Sona are. The Sona are the Baku, and the Baku are the Sona.
Yeah.
But if you're just watching this for the first time, you're just like, oh, these are some weird aliens. But
you say potato and I say potato.
We know he's just a stretched out humanoid alien that who once upon a time looked like a human.
Yep.
And just now has stretchy skin, but doesn't need to be hydrated with the squirt bottle. But it's just gross. Why?
Yeah, it is. It's definitely. It's Twilight. It's like the Twilight Zone. It's Twilight Zone gross.
F. Murray Abram, who plays Ruffo, said in interviews that he felt that he would have done only Star Trek movies for the rest of his year, so for the rest of his career. So he liked doing Star Trek movies. He said he compared acting in prosthetic makeup to making love in the dark. So, oh my, what?
Whoa.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. Maybe it's a whole thing with method acting.
Okay, well then he really got into his role. Makeup supervisor Michael Westmore, he wanted to make sure that the Sona were not exaggerated, so he had help from Dean Jones, who was a sculptor and who worked on Deep Space Nine to figure this out. And the prosthetics for Ruafo used overlapping layers that were stretched over Abrams' head. Westmore said Abrams' prosthetics was like a rubber band. And and the skin was translucent. It was so thin that the layers were pulling on each other. Yeah.
Well, and also I want to give a big shout out to F. Murray Abraham, Oscar winner for Amadeus. Like, I love it when I see good actors in Star Trek. Love it.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you, Admiral Cheek. He says, if you can, please take a moment and hit the follow buttons for our pal, Anti-Derivative Joe. Very generous.
For some reason, I thought John Forsythe was in this movie. I guess I was wrong.
Which one do you think he plays?
He was who was the second guy? Who was
his friend.
No.
Friend.
You know who it was? It was Greg Henry.
Yes. Galatine. Okay. Yeah, no,
So,
for some reason.
I remember his name too. Good work, man.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. Galatine.
Another idea, another thing about this movie trivia point is that Industrial Light and Magic was busy with the Phantom Menace, so Frakes had to hire a different special effects company, Blue Sky BIFX, in Santa Barbara Studios.
I don't mind the special effects in this movie. I like it. In fact, this is the only time that we actually get to see a warp core ejection.
Yep.
It's fine video game footage.
All right. Oh my stars! You are so sour.
Ejection. Giggity.
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 This Hot Topic says, Scotty, did you think that the Enterprise E left F. Murray Abram to die on the station?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. They beamed out. Well, you're talking about the end of the movie. They beamed out Picard, but not that guy. Ruffo.
We have him, sir. What about Ruffo? He's dead.
Yeah, F him. Yeah.
Hey,
blew
what
up.
about Ruafo? He ain't getting any younger, sir.
Yeah. Well, no, but that's something I don't want to leave it till the end because it's in my noggin now. But like originally, he was supposed to age backwards to the point of being like a zygote, and like he was supposed to. That was the original ending, and they didn't do that. But you can check it out on YouTube.
I think there was budget issues and time constraints.
Yeah, I mean, if you had maybe 8, 9, 10 sentences, well placed dialogue, you could have turned a mishap in the Sona array to like solve everything.
Okay, so here's my idea. Because earlier in the film they use like the transporter tags, right?
Yeah.
To get the people off the planet. What if there was like the reason they had to use the transporter tags is because the Sona and the Boku, which are both the same species, they were like you couldn't lock onto them with the transporter. It was impossible. There's something about their biology. And then there you go. We can't lock onto the Boku, sir. Why? Because they have different physiology. Done.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't turn into cold-blooded murder.
Yeah. That makes you wish there's a cameo by O'Brien, not Worf. Sorry, go ahead.
Is Mr. Daniels in this movie?
Yeah. I think so.
Because he's with the other girl that's at the helm, the Trill.
Yes.
Oh, I love her so much. She sadly passed away. I forget the name of the actress, but she sadly passed away. But I do adore her.
Stephanie Nizick.
Yeah, she is like when it comes to Trill, she's my second favorite, and she's ahead of Ezri.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And irrelevant. But thank you for playing with me.
Well, the thing that's interesting about this, I mean, all these next gen movies is how, we kind of pointed out earlier how everybody acts so. I mean, especially Picard, so out of character where he's just like in First Contact, he's kind of like, well, this is Ensign Lynch. It's like you just killed one of your guys. And it was like, yeah, but there was no way to save him, and they went through everything they could to save Picard in the best of both worlds. And then it's just like in the movie, he's like, don't let them touch you. Once you're done, it's like a zombie. You're dead. You can't
if
save
they
you.
touch you, they touch you, kill them. You'll be doing them a favor.
Yeah, well, but that's weird. That's why I like everything going on with Riker in First Contact, and I hate everything going on with Picard in First Contact.
Yeah. I mean, in this one, he's basically the same thing.
It's like he and Picard is for PTSD.
Like one of my, and I know we've already reviewed First Contact, but one of my favorite things about First Contact is that the opening theme during the opening credits is an anthem to when humans met Vulcans. It has nothing to do with the battle. The movie itself is about First Contact. It's the title, and all the Borg shit, boring.
Yeah, it's the downfall of the Borg in that movie.
Yeah,
ultimately.
Yeah, the Phoenix is basically one of my favorite starships, so I agree.
Yeah, I mean, hooby dooby, hooby dooby, hooby dooby, hooby doo. Let's get back to Insurrection.
Yes,
there was at least 2 or 3 guys dressed up as Ephraim Cochran at the convention. It was wild.
That's
how tall
cool.
were they?
Pretty. I think they were all about 6 feet, and then one of them actually had the song playing on like a iPod or something.
On a loop. That's great.
On a loop. That was crazy. It was walking by me, and I was like, "That's great. That's funny."
Well, the thing is, they're trying to retrieve data because he's gone bonkers, and so Worf's made a modified a tricorder to knock him out, but they just have to be close enough to him.
And sing Gilbert and Sullivan.
And sing HMS.
A British tar is a soaring,
which is not entertaining at all. I mean, it would be, but it's like it's not entertaining at all because it's not logical.
No,
right. There's no reason. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there's no reason. there's no reason other than for Picard to do some Gilbert and Sullivan. It's just
you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is one of those things where, like, and I will attribute a lot of things to Patrick Stewart's ego, but don't forget Brent Spiner has an ego as well,
Yeah.
and he is a song and dance man. I think Gilbert and
accept
Sullivan. Don't forget he sang Blue Skies at the beginning of Nemesis.
Yes.
For some reason, Brent Spiner wants us to know he can sing.
Okay, you know what? Let me.
Yellow Eyes.
Let me amend my statement. This is just an ego piece for a cast member.
Yes,
there.
All of them are.
You know,
to a certain extent.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, I do agree with Scotty that Generations is the closest to it.
You think Generations
the closest
has ego?
to characters? No,
Brent Spiner wanting to emote.
Maybe. Another scene that happens here is that we learn that the Sona are slave, like they
enslaved other races.
Yes, the Tarlac and the Laura, and I guess those are the other aliens that are on their ship, possibly. And they also made a lot of Ketracel White, the drug that the Vorta give to the Jem'Hadar, so essentially helping the enemy. And for some reason, we're supposed to believe the Federation is totally cool, totally fine, hanging out, making hay with the Sona.
They've got a fountain of youth.
Do you guys
Let's
really
get in
believe
bed
this?
with the bad guys?
Well, I mean,
and I think that's
you have to remember.
I think that's even a statement in the movie where Picard says, like, how, like, these guys, why are we in bed with the bad guys?
Well, I mean, it's kind of
Troy says it. Yeah.
Because I mean, for me, it's kind of like, the United States government, as it stands, bringing in parallels to reality, like we're constantly in bed with all kinds of like nefarious characters, even though we love to pretend that we're above it all. And in this case, I think it would be kind of like us trying to support like Cuba and how they have their own little cocaine stuff, as well as Mexico has their own stuff. So it'd be like us trying to support somebody we know who supports our enemies, yet there's kind of a common interest. And so that's why we kind of let our morals kind of go to the side a bit, because we have a larger goal in mind. But, the morality is very, I would even call it gray. It definitely leans toward the black, that we don't like to think that we would, entertain, but ultimately.
And you opened this very dark briefcase, but like, wasn't there during Afghanistan? It was protect the poppy fields.
Yeah,
basically.
You can.
So guys,
okay, sorry.
Meanwhile, back in the 24th century.
Oh, no, not meanwhile. I wanted to respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Respond to that. So that's only if Star Trek is not supposed to be written as if the Federation reflects humanity today. This is supposed to be.
Are you high?
No.
Why do you not?
Because
think?
the Klingons, the Romulans, were supposed to be the analogy to humanity, and the Federation has it's supposed to have higher morality than that. They're supposed to be. They really are supposed to be better.
Captain Tracy, and again, like the parallels to the Omega Glory. James Caserta, like great. Like whoever told me about this today has opened my brain into this is the next generation version of the Omega Glory. But like the Federation has always had independent actors who work in nefarious ways to do things that are not good.
Yeah, that was just one bad captain who went
one.
So,
do you want me to list people?
No. Well, I'm not saying that this is the only instance of that, but if it was just the admiral who was bad in this movie, I'd be totally fine with it. If it was just 10 people, if there were 10 of them, then that would be fine. But this
is attempting to harvest metagenic radiation to save billions of people in the Federation. It is the Baku who are bad.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing is that the Federation, at least from a production lens in Star Trek, I've always kind of taken it with a grain of salt that you know, I've always brought the parallel. The Federation is basically, you know, the United States, and that's, you know, the parallel, because we have these high-minded aspirations that we love to like live up to. At least we would like to live up to, but do we ever actually live up to them? I think Star Trek reflects that more often than it doesn't. And I think,
well,
you know,
to quote the philosopher Aerosmith, life's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
But I think the main problem with this movie is not the political implications that you want to inject into the Federation that is supposed to be a look at what humanity should become in the future and not what we currently are in the modern day. I think the problem with this movie is that it's kind of just really tedious, because if you're watching it, when you're watching it for the first time, you just don't know what's going on, except Data's
It is
gone crazy.
poorly constructed.
Something weird. Some weird guy has the stretchy skin. It's a bad setup, and especially without the mention of the mysterious benefits that we're supposed to care about that aren't explained yet. There's so many mysteries that it just doesn't sound interesting on the outset.
This is more of a Scooby-Doo mystery to me.
Yeah, it is. Like, it's got some pretty nebulas. Look at the pretty nebulas. But what are we gonna do?
Pretty nebulas.
I mean, literally, they could rip off someone's face mask at the end and say, anyway.
Yeah,
but there's no mystery.
Well, I just explained all of them. Eventually, when you get to the end of the movie, you're like, okay, now I can put the pieces together. But why create that air of unknowing, like not giving the audience anything fun to think about while you're watching the movie? There's nothing to grumble onto until halfway through the movie.
And I would have been able to do it if it wasn't for your damn kids.
Stop here for just. Can you go back one slide? I have a question for the gentleman in the panel and chat. Troy or Crusher?
Ooh.
I know it's tough.
Crusher.
Yeah. Like, I'm 90% Crusher, but I'm pretty sure Troy would be amazing in the sheets.
Yeah. You know,
I think that I like hanging out with Beverly more, but I think Deanna would be more exciting in the
you know what? I'm
Gavin
I gotta believe that Beverly is a closeted freak.
You think she goes nuts? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the ghost episode.
I gotta.
Oh, that's true. She has O faces all over the place.
I mean, she has adventure.
Oh, no.
And
Rosa really fell.
And she's a doctor.
So she knows. Yeah, she has
She
the hands
knows
of a
what she
surgeon.
can do with the body.
She's willing to be adventurous. That's always good.
Yep.
Yes. But also,
Gavin Blackburn
you'd
says,
have to,
why not
you'd
both?
have to keep in mind. You'd have to keep in mind that your lips have also been where Wesley has.
You know what?
Like, she breastfed. So,
hey, if you're gonna play in the
If you're gonna
play in the mud, you're gonna get dirty, Scotty.
It's true. It's true. But you're getting Wesley's
Who
sloppy
thinks about
kisses.
that? Like,
I just did, Jill. That's why we're friends.
You know what? Shut up, Wesley.
Yes, sir. Do we have that clip? We have that clip. I gotta find it. Keep going. I'll find the clip.
Sir, I know this may finish me as an acting ensign, but
shut up, Wesley.
Serve that. Thank you.
That's how terrible this movie is that, you know, I'm drooling over nebulas and the men are drooling over the potential sexuality of Beverly and
I don't want to exclude you. Which out of the crew of the Enterprise, which one would you like to engage with coitus? Riker. It's Riker.
No, it's not. Sorry, not really that interested in Riker.
You don't want to have
I wanted Riker to be Billy Campbell.
Yeah, that's true. So you want to have the knocking boots with the outrageous O'Connor.
But I don't like the outrageous O'Connor's character.
I love the outrageous O'Connor. Anyway, we should move on. I'm sorry for hijacking this into a blue place.
No, but you're making it interesting because this movie is not.
Yeah.
And kids are
Beiges
playing
and
hacky
browns.
sack.
Beiges
And
and
okay,
browns.
actually, the kids playing hacky sack is kind of interesting because it's a demonstration of how their mental abilities have
Their idyllic life and they're
expanded.
still in Sylvan Glade where they grow up and they have 60-year apprenticeships doing beadwork and this and that, and they're making bread and yeah.
Right. I think,
Well-
and that's kind of interesting. Thank you. That very well described.
Yes.
As
Yeah.
you're dressed up in your JCPenney best, yeah.
Well, yeah, and like you guys were saying earlier, I think it's really weird, the song. Why would a purely logical being be stopped by song? I don't know. You guys were right. And so we find out about the Baku, the primitive race that isn't primitive. They're just Amish. They have warp drive technology,
They're
but they
voluntarily
don't want to.
Amish.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, on purpose. On purpose.
Yeah.
So Anij, Donna Murphy, was also famously Dr. Octopus's wife in Spider-Man 2. And she is bland. And then also her husband Daryl, or not even husband. What is he, brother? Who is Daryl? Why is Daryl?
This guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
It's all
like
unclear.
he is literally, as a plot device, he is
So
there to
shit.
cock block Picard.
Daniel Who Kelly.
Daniel, who cares?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, for
I'm
me,
sorry,
it's like
I
when I
don't
was a
mean
kid.
to denigrate the actor. I just mean in terms of the character and the performance. It is so beiges and browns, earth tones.
Yeah, because like when I was a
Nice
kid, I thought
vest.
that she and the dude in the middle were like an item, and then the kid was like something that came from them.
I
But
thought they
now,
were a
as an
family.
adult, yeah, and as I got older, I started to realize maybe this is like some kind of weird polycule. I don't know.
Oh my god, it's a throuple.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I mean,
It's
if you're gonna
never
live
clearly
if you're gonna
defined.
live forever, kind of monogamy might just go out the window. But
yeah,
like I'm not a big fan of rewriting a movie to make it fit my tastes, but she should have been like the prime minister.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unclear who the leader is. It's like some sort of weird, like
we don't have-
anarcho-communist.
I thought it was
society.
Daryl.
Help! I'm being oppressed.
Well,
Yeah, it's very unclear.
Yeah, well, the entire society, of course, is unclear. They have children.
They're
but,
just hippies.
They're just okay.
Like I think they're just hippies, and that's probably why I don't connect with the rescue. Is like what?
Well,
These
they're hippies,
have
but
the
they
cure for cancer, and they won't give it because they
They
want
have
to keep playing hacky sack.
well, they have technology. They're enough to fuss around with data, and so they have capabilities that they're hiding. So they've got like a
They didn't
storeroom
fuss
of
around.
technology.
They didn't fuss around with data. Somebody shot data.
No, what? No, he says right in here in this scene.
We
Hold on, let me help you.
reprogrammed
No,
your
you're
artificial
incorrect.
human.
Yes.
No, he does not.
He does.
All right, prove me wrong. I love being wrong.
Okay.
It's the first time this year.
Okay. Well, they have work, so let me find that.
Okay. Either way, I'm not a fan of Daryl.
Okay. Yes. Our let's see. There was a phase variance. Okay, so Eternal, like this guy, he says
Daryl.
This
Oh
guy-
no, not a Vulcan. Okay.
not a Vulcan. There was a phase variance in his positronic matrix, which we were unable to repair. So indicating that he could do things to Data.
Huh.
They plugged in the OBD2 and they diagnosed him, but they didn't do any service.
Hey Teague, don't you like it when I pretend to know about Star Trek? I was wrong and I apologize.
That's okay. It doesn't happen often, so I'm basking in it just a bit.
Yeah, no, totally. Relax in it. Put your feet up.
So the way I'm implying it, or the way I think it makes sense to me, is that they brought out the code reader that you put in a car, hooked it up
OBD2.
to Data, and they were like, "It's good."
Oh,
and
that's what I
then
meant.
that's it.
Is it like when you tap your debit card It's just like an
no,
RFID
well,
kind of thing.
it's an
RFID
well,
kind of
it's
thing.
an OBD2 reader is code readers. Like there's an actual plug-in port.
Yeah.
Even the wireless ones, it's like you have to plug something in and then it reads it, and then you have a something on the other end. But anyway,
Yeah, it's for diagnosing problems in your
Yeah.
vehicle sometimes.
so they diagnosed him.
Did I
What?
miss Admiral Janeway? I saw Picard at his
No, she's
desk
not
and
in
I
the
was
movie.
like,
No,
"Hey,
she's
Janeway!"
You're missing
Nemesis.
you're mixing up your movies.
I am, because both of these are fucking stupid. But moving on.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll defend
fair enough.
Insurrection. I won't defend Nemesis.
It
No,
wouldn't
I
have
won't defend
surprised me.
Nemesis, and I'm sorry for
It would-
mixing them up.
It wouldn't have surprised me if Janeway was hanging out with this admiral and being like, "Yeah, let's do this."
It would be wild if she was an admiral already and she wasn't even back from the Delta Quadrant yet.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
she could have made herself
it's
an
in the middle
admiral.
of Voyager.
She could have showed
Have my
up
own
one
little-
day and be like, "I am Admiral Janeway," and Chakotay's like, "What?"
She stole
I
one
feel
of
like that's what's happened.
she stole one of
Yeah.
pieces of B'Elanna's flare.
Exactly. Oh my stars, they're
You know,
besties.
why not go the whole nine and
B'Elanna
just say,
and
president?
Janeway. Yeah.
Nah, she wants to stay on a starship.
She still do that.
I never kissed you with a beard before.
Hey, and that's a lie.
You say
Like
yuck.
there are lots of episodes that I distinctly remember of Deanna Troi passionately kissing Riker with a beard.
Yes.
How did like Michael Pillar? Speaking of people you expect to
No.
be Star Trek experts, it's dumb.
No, but
This line is
I
stupid.
chalk this one up to the sort of reinvigoration.
Oh,
Like I think Troy.
I'm gonna mute for a bit.
prefers-
I'll be back in a few minutes.
Cool.
Okay.
I
okay.
think Troy
Okay, see you
reverts.
soon.
She like if this is a fountain of youth, she wants to kiss a young man. And what says youth but soft baby face? And
Okay, so
it is referential to the Pegasus when Admiral Terry O'Quinn from Lost says, "Oh, I like the beard," and he was like, "Well, I got sick and tired of being called Lieutenant Babyface," and like it does move into the sort of recession of age in this film, which is a fountain of youth movie that doesn't pay off what it's promising. But I do like this interaction. And also,
And
I do like the fact that Jonathan Frakes committed to shaving his beard. We get babyface Frakes. I love it.
And there is a scene where he had already shaved his beard, but it hadn't happened in the movie yet, so he had to wear a fake beard. I don't remember what scene.
Richard knows
that occurred. Richard probably knows. Richard's fake is here. It was Ensign Babyface.
He was Ensign Babyface. So there
Okay,
you go.
Is this the
Same
only
show,
time in the
two
movie she does
mistakes.
that?
And I understand what you're saying. You're saying that because of the effects of the planet, they're reverting to teenage sensibilities, but does that affect her memory too? Like she just goes stupid and forgets everything.
She just doesn't
before
like
she was
it
a teenager.
anymore. She just doesn't like it anymore. I don't want whiskers.
I think it's dumb. The whole reason for keeping the beard during the show is because it looked nautical, and also it was a common fan belief that TNG improved when it grew the beard. So what did that say about a movie in which he gets rid of
Jill,
it symbolically?
Jill, here's my question. Once they finish shaving Will's face, where do they move on to? I'm pretty sure that Betazoid is clean down under.
Oh, okay.
say more.
Well, they were in a hot tub, so
Yeah, I know,
I don't know
right?
how
It
much
was-
shaving
that
was
tub
going on,
was
and
hot.
nor do I want to know.
I want to know.
I don't know. Okay, so
Friday.
Friday. It is Friday. But seriously, it just I don't see, just because she doesn't like it. I mean, and he's okay with this, then we just have so far this movie. What we have is deceptive diplomacy and women changing men to align with their desires.
No, but I'm saying that I'm probably accurate Will Riker
Mhm.
shaved parts of Deanna.
Betazoids are
I mean,
like,
technically.
oh my God, Gavin. The chat is not helping me.
No.
It's what you're saying. It's like the 70s on Beta Z.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So,
No.
okay.
Like, do you think like Luoxana has such a big bush?
So this is the part of the movie where they finally try to explain what was going on with Data, I guess, and it's all out of order. But Data's morality and ethical subroutines were telling Data to attack the Federation because whatever Dougherty was doing was bad, and he could tell that the Baku were being taken advantage of. And yes, Nordapupus Q-Bird. Yes, that is what he is saying. That is what he said.
But
We've
I
got
will
to
attempt to reel
interject
it in.
the Star Wars into Star Trek with that.
Hashtag buy me. Hashtag buy me a She-Hulk.
But no, but this is the way I like it said though. Like, are you saying Betazoids have Wookiee beavers? We know what that means, but we don't have to be explicit about it. It's more coded that way.
Thanks, man. Booger.
Anyway.
Don't shave a tribble.
Leaving his ethical subroutines in charge and making him go against Starfleet to reveal the conspiracy against Starfleet was interesting, but if his memories were damaged, I don't know. It's confusing about how the memories work. How did you know who to attack? Like, what memories were damaged? It's very unclear. This whole movie is unclear, but it's fine. Scotty is from Bulgaria, yes. And you have to remember these people rejected technology, and does the movie want to believe that Data couldn't figure it out on his own? I think he could have, because he plays Sherlock Holmes all the time, and it would have been. I think it would have been more interesting if Data would have had his own. It would have figured out the plot without having to lose his capability of control.
Yeah.
And well, this movie has a lot of instances where the audience knows more than our heroes do, and so then we have to catch up. We have to wait for them to catch up to what we know. And
Dramatic irony.
Yeah, Sojif says, Artem, do you remember when you were on the day of lightning when the artificial life form appeared to us? Oh, okay. And that's so the kid can show them the holoship. But we're gonna get to that in a minute. And here Thona is producing too many toxins. He's gonna die. He's gonna die, and they've got to destroy this world in order to live, in order for him to live. And well, the thing is, would the Sona? Okay, so let's pretend that the Sona won, and they got to destroy the world with or without the Baku on it, and they got what they wanted. And would they have been like, okay, here it is, Federation, you get to have this? Or would they have been like, screw you, Admiral, and blown up his little shuttlecraft that he brought with him and just taken all the stuff for themselves? And that would have been it. And no one else would have actually benefited from this.
If nothing else, I think the movie would have benefited from the Sona
that was
actually.
A question for Scotty, wasn't he?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Now, I think the film would have benefited by actually them following through on stealing the particles from the rings, and then kind of having to deal with that, and I think there would have been more room for character growth, but ultimately they didn't choose that option.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that fake out they do, and like 3/4 of the way through.
Hold on just a moment, and I'm just typing something. Oh, hold on just a second.
Bulgaria. Also, I'm back. Where's Jill?
Hey, welcome back. Welcome
she's
back, Max.
She's under the Snortopoopas car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went downstairs. I just got a hard case luggage for my photo gear. I was just very excited. It's Christmas in August.
There you go.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
So we're just waiting for the crew to catch up with all the things that we already know.
Okay.
And getting following the kid around and all of that kind of thing.
Oh, the kid. You gotta play every day.
I know that's kind of cute. I guess I'm not mad at that part of the movie.
That is one of the more truly idyllic, personal growth points of the movie. So
yeah, exactly. And
smoother than an android's bottom, and then like Data pulls down his Data.
And he refused to say that line, so that's why he just kind of gives them a look. And the Kelbonite's a nice little plot device to keep the Sona from being able to transport them. So you wanna hang out. A lot of this movie is the Baku running around the planet trying to avoid being transported off the planet, but we're not quite there yet. Whose phone is vibrating?
Oh, sorry, that's
Data is locating the ship by using his little tricorder. And the Baku have made this thing that drains some water.
But this is indirect. Like
ship.
if you want to be a canon nitpicker, there is a point in I think it's Descent Part 1 where Geordi says, "Remember that time we went swimming and you jumped in, but because you couldn't swim and you were so heavy, you walked along the bottom of a lake for 2 miles."
And he got the water came in.
Yeah. And this movie, he is equipped with a flotation device in case of an emergency landing.
Well, he upgraded. And they apparently sealed up his orifice.
Who upgraded him?
I don't know.
Geordi.
Geek Squad.
No, Geordi.
Makes sense. I'm fine.
Well, for some reason they wanted to make this movie funnier, so I think that was just added just to be funny.
This was supposed to be the Star Trek 4. This was supposed to be the funny one.
It didn't.
It's more of a Star Trek 5, which I also don't have a problem with.
I love Star Trek 5.
Hey,
it's not
Apex
as good as
Comics.
Star Trek
4. Apex Comics is here. I gotta say hello to him. Is that a phone in your pocket? No, just a fully functional positioning.
It's Tasha Yar.
Oh yeah, so they
It's
find
Tasha-
the
no, I
holographic.
Can't say that.
They find the holographic projection ship, and Picard, he's not sure what it is, but anyway,
it's a dance hall.
Yeah, but we know what it is. It's of course the sonar are gonna transport the Baku to another planet before they even know what's up, and just trick them into thinking that's totally fine, that they're gonna be displaced from where they are. And I'm sorry, that should have been positronic, not positioning. Yes, positronic makes more sense.
Jill, what is the Klingon word for pimple?
Gorch.
Oh, I forget.
Gorch.
Oh, gorch. What is the gorch?
It is a gorch.
Hardly noticeable.
Quark was supposed to be vacationing on the Baku, which would have lent into the idea that this could have been kind of like Risa, but you just come away feeling just a little bit younger.
Quark was the one who gave Quark would be the one who gave the Sona the idea to do the array.
Well, are there any, like, again, I sort of confused Kate Janeway showing up in this movie, but it wasn't this movie. It was the Nemesis.
Yeah.
And I know that they were like Quark was supposed to be in this movie. Like, is there a cross pollination? I love that, sir. Jill, can you go back one and send me that? Because I'm gonna make
Which one?
The one,
Oh,
that
that
one. Yeah, I want that.
Okay. Yeah, you can have that.
Yeah, it's gonna be my new profile picture.
Oh, the other thing about the hollow ship is that there were no security measures in place because Picard's able to just immediately turn off all the things, and I guess it just responds to captains.
There wasn't even a
he's-
password.
there was no
he is
code.
captain-
Exactly.
One,
He's captain of the
2,
flagship.
3, 4, 5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it sounds like the combination to my luggage.
It's fine.
What kind of idiot does that?
Jean-Luc Picard. No, the Federation. But the thing is that let's not forget, Jean-Luc Picard is the captain of the flagship of the Federation. I'm pretty sure voice recognition just lets him to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Well, I think the other implication is
I
that
don't
they
know.
didn't actually account for anybody finding it, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's true too. Because it's cloaked. They thought, it's invisible. It'll be fine.
But they
And
did
so-
this to Paul
There
Sorvino
we go.
in season 7.
And of course, as you could tell, especially looking at sickbay, the sets on the Enterprise E are redresses of Voyager, and there's that. There's okay.
What's Worf's brother's name?
Oh, Nikolai or something.
Nikolai.
Is it
Nikolai?
Nikolai
Nikolai.
Roshenko.
Roshenko, yeah.
Yes.
Why didn't they call Worf Mr. like Lieutenant Roshenko? Just saying.
That's
I
a
mean, they
good
call Alexander
question.
that. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, but also,
maybe
no,
because he
Alexander-
identifies as Klingon.
Wonder what Worf's
my.
human name would have been. If they would have assigned him a human name, and then
Worf
Gary.
Roshenko. I don't know.
because they're supposed to be like Russian, right? So yeah.
Oh, right.
Vladimir.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Sergey.
Yes.
No, yeah, right. It's Sergey.
Warfamir.
No, it has
Yevgeny.
to be. It has to be a single
Yevgeny.
syllable. What is the shortest male Russian name?
Slav.
No, that's racist.
Would be Vlad or something like that.
Vlad. Yeah, I'm with Vlad. Woof. Thank you. Apex got it right. His name is Woof.
Woof. Mr. Woof.
Yes. Dr. Woof. Lord Woof.
Have you eaten any good books lately?
Macro head with a micro brain.
I love John Delancey so much.
He's actually taller in real life than I thought he would be. He's like 6'4" or something.
Oh wow.
Isn't it just a little convenient that the metaphysic radiation only has an effect once the kids reach, grow up and are past puberty? If they didn't do that, it would probably be a weird mirror situation on this planet.
Yeah.
How old are
Rascals Part 2.
Mm-hmm. If only.
And
I do like Rascals. I think it's a good episode.
It's really good. But it's not a good episode. It's terrible.
It's not a good episode. It has some novelty.
It's fun. It's fun.
It has some fun points, but it's like the stuff between Keiko and O'Brien.
Oh, that is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We have a 200-year-old chick who's wanting to do the things with the 60-year-old.
Yeah, that's a little
The
bit
younger man.
that's a lot better. Yeah, the younger. Yeah, she likes the younger men. She even says that, and I think it's just like to another ego stroking, of course, for the actors. It's also wrong scientifically because how does it work? How does it work with Picard's heart when he becomes a kid again?
Oh, that's curious.
That's the main thing that always bothered me.
He could just regrow his heart. or something.
But the heart, the artificial heart doesn't like magically.
Oh, why didn't Picard's heart grow back from this movie? And then and he was like, "Oh no, there's something wrong with my heart." That would have been cool.
Yes. Oh my, why? Because even like Geordi has the ocular implants to make him see. His eyes grow back, quote unquote. And so what happens to the like cybernetic implants? Same deal with Oldie Olsen here. And his heart. You guys,
exactly. And
this movie is opening up my brain so much. I should stop paying attention to Keiko.
Yeah. And initiate panel ejection sequence code Jill 000. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah Kupis. I have my finger on the button. I have the capabilities. So
I'm coasting very dangerously towards ejection.
You are. And
so I think his heart
this was the part of the movie that I figured out that this episode is like the Omega Glory, and it gave me hope that the Federation, had nothing to do with it. Although later in the movie, there's proof that Federation had everything to do with it, and so they dashed my hopes and dreams at the end of the movie, where we have a Starfleet officer cut off from Starfleet, taking over civilization who are living on a planet with regenerative properties, and so, but no, I have.
Jill, do you find it disconcerting that Picard has a sort of infatuation with Inij when everyone in Star Trek fandom just wants Picard and Beverly to get together?
Oh, that's a great point too. That is a really great point. And well, there was a really teasing TNG episode where they teased Picard and Beverly getting together, where they get stuck in a cave, and we have caves in this movie. I don't remember.
Oh, caves!
Wait, was that the one where they're like connected?
What was that episode called? They had
the one
telekinetic. Like they have the psychic link, and if they got too far apart,
the one like in the 7th season where they're in the Prit with the Kess Prit and all that stuff.
Yeah. Also, another really good Riker episode, by the way.
Yeah, and here's the Geordi scene you enjoyed from earlier that you mentioned earlier already. I've never seen a sunrise. And speaking of the Naked Now episode, that kind of reminds me of when he's talking to Tasha about it.
Yeah,
and
I can see it, but not like you.
But
yeah, he gets really scary.
But also he's drunk based on the polywater.
Yes, exactly. And also,
meanwhile, back at the Apple store, how many iPads can you have on a desk?
Right, exactly. Not quite predictive of what exactly happened, but they have
this one or is it the last one?
They use pads like paper.
Yes,
I think there's either this one or the other or the next movie where he kind of walks into his ready room and he just sees all of these pads on his desk, and I don't always seem kind of unintentionally funny to me.
Well, but this is
it happens on Deep Space Nine too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny because like again, when this movie was 97, like this is still future technology. This is still this is something that we don't have, and so having a bunch of them means it's important. But now that we live in 2024, it's like just open a new tab. You don't need to buy another iPad.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Admiral Teague, that this movie's biggest flaw is just that it's boring. A really boring dream.
Scotty, look at my avatar.
And
so I have to scroll down.
And in my notes, when Anish starts talking about what happened yesterday when you stopped planning for.
No, I'm poorly sighted.
Oh.
I can see like blue and red, but I don't know Watch it, Scotty. Yes, no, fair enough.
Okay.
No,
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna
Joe.
have to come. I'm gonna have to come back later and just excise some of the portions of the stream. That
What
I
are you
didn't like.
talking about? I didn't say anything wrong. Are you going to talk about Loaxana Troy's nether regions?
So you, and
Watch it,
I think a
Scotty.
lot of the dialogue from Anish is it kind of reminds me. It has shades of the Traveler for me. The way she talks, it's like a bunch of garbage gobbledygook.
It's very
that I'm supposed to
holistic.
believe.
It's very it's got a specific cadence to it that almost sounds sort of, I mean, hippie, but also kind of like, you know, like she doesn't really want to say exactly what she means. She's gonna have to like couch it in a bunch of metaphors, and then Picard's all like, "Well, I must probe further and see what this is." And it's like, you know, going back to what had been mentioned earlier with you know, the ego of Patrick Stewart. It's like, you know, they were like, "Find me a love interest." I was like, "We already have one in, you know, Dr. Crusher." No, find me a different one. I'm like, "What?"
Well, and the thing, like, remember when they said that they originally wanted Sean Connery to play Cyborg?
Mm-hmm.
And it was all a matter of the big co-star. Eddie Murphy famously was supposed to be Dr. Taylor in Star Trek 4. And Christopher Lloyd was Scrooge in Star Trek 3. We got
and John Larroquette was Maltz.
Yeah, and I love John Larroquette as Maltz.
Yeah, we got a photo of Christopher Lloyd and William Shatner at the Star Trek convention. So I think it is for the 40th, because this year is going to be the 40th for the Search for Spock. So that is a picture I'm going to cherish for a long time.
We get Oscar winner F. Murray Abraham as
I would make this a 5-hour stream if I could, but I do have time constraints, so I have to get through this long ass episode. You know that it's a episode of Star Trek, and
yes,
there's no calling this movie 50% good. The story sucked, and you know what? It had the story itself had potential, but the way that they presented it sucked. And there's you know, you get the only difference between this and an episode is sometimes we get to see some pretty parts of California.
Yeah.
And
it's made insubstantial.
Yeah.
It's just it's made insubstantial by negligence of the script.
I think so too. He's not Picard isn't releasing the Sona officers because he found the hollow ship and the leader's dying and angry and he wants to end the alliance. He said no, and he starts bleeding, and it is gross. And Picard doesn't want to let the Admiral move the people, but Garrity claims that he's acting on Federation orders, and
I am.
And
acting on the Federation Council.
I can't, and that's my biggest problem. I can't believe that. I don't believe it's true. And Picard explains neatly how they don't need the Sona. Maybe it'll take them a little longer because they don't need the Sona. You don't have to make deals with slave driver.
There's nothing.
Drug dealer.
The Sona. There's Sona. It's like if the Sona have some. It would seem like if the Sona have something that only they possess, that only they have, that would make them the only ones that could do it. Then so do the Boku. Making it unnecessary to remove them.
Exactly, because they're especially when we find out at the end that they're the same, and so that completely negates the need for any of this shit.
The Sona and the Baku are the same species.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if they left and they knew that the Baku homeworld it has regenerative properties, the Sona have just as much a right to it as the Baku. Yes or yes?
Yes.
So why can't the Sona go to the Federation, say we have the Fountain of Youth, and then the Federation says this'll cure cancer, and then we're done? Like it's over.
It's not the fact that they don't have it's not that they don't have the right to anything. It's just that It's the way they're going about it is not cool.
How are they going about it incorrectly?
Because you've got to watch the whole movie where eventually he's like, fuck it, let's kill him.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
You haven't seen this movie where he basically says, screw it, let's kill them. I don't care if they want to stay on the planet, we're going to murder them.
It's a simple relocation of the population that isn't native to the planet in the first place.
No, you're not listening to me. I'm not talking about the plan to relocate. I'm talking about where he says, okay, if they're not going to leave, we're going to murder them. And even his friend
that gets into villain territory for sure.
Even his friend is like, I'm not so sure about this. And
what I can say
goes against him.
Well, what I can say about F. Murray Abraham's villain here is that I am glad that it's a villain who has a motivation that isn't like strictly for revenge against Captain. So
yes,
that's one of the things I like about
F. Murray Abraham actually was a proper villain.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly, Admiralty. I do agree with this. They called World War II bad guys plan a simple relocation too. It's a euphemism, and especially when the Sona do use euphemisms like relocation, like, oh, we're just gonna escort Riker out of the area, and by escort he means attack and destroy the Enterprise E is what the Sona were actually told to do, which why of course they attack the ship. What do you mean no?
I mean no. The entire reason that the holo ship exists is because they don't want to kill the Baku.
Oh no, that's only because
that's the Federation.
That's only because of the Admiral. If the Sona were doing this by themselves, they wouldn't be doing this. They're only playing along with the Federation ideals and all of that.
Roses,
and so this was the question I was asking you earlier, but you stepped away, and I didn't realize you stepped away. And this question was also for you, and you were gone.
I have to step away. I'll be back in a moment.
What would have stopped the Sona from just killing the Admiral after getting what they want, and just like destroying the shuttlecraft and leaving with the Fountain of Youth, and wouldn't and then no one else would have benefited it, and they just hoarded it.
You'd literally have to hold Ruafo hostage.
Because what is there about these aliens that engenders such support from you, where you think they're good guys that we can totally trust and be best friends with, and they're just going to let us have this thing?
According to they were cast out because they were like, it's like these guys, the Baku are Amish, and the Sona, they didn't want it. I don't think they wanted to be Sona. They kind of wanted to be Mennonites.
Sure.
So it's not like they're ever, the Baku are never like, we shouldn't have cast them out. This is, our chickens are coming home to roost. But no, they have responsibility for creating this menace, even if it's just a small part, because they cast them out.
Well, and again, it's like, I appreciate, as you said, when it comes to Ruafo being a true villain, he is a villain, but he's not angry at the captain.
Yeah.
And so I do really like the fact that his revenge is upon his own people. It's interesting-ish, but then again, it does get cartoonish. Anyway,
it does.
I'm
it does.
distracted
It does.
by the chat.
Well, he's just missing the mustache because because his body's dying and he doesn't have any hair.
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm going to be heading out right now, so I will be switching.
You're going to be missing the Fountain of Youth.
So I won't be. It's all mine. I won't be streaming like this, but I'll be in the chat.
Well, dude, it's so
okay. Thank you so much for. If I didn't have to speed
Watch
through
it.
the rest of these slides, I would tell us what you're doing on the internet and about your channel and what's going on with you while we go through this really.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be in the chat in a little bit, but in case you guys didn't know, on YouTube, I'm Fleet Admiral Levi. I talk about science fiction, fantasy, horror, the books, TV, film, doesn't matter. We're going to try to talk about all of it. Tonight, I was supposed to have a free chat on my own channel, but for a live stream, but my guest canceled on me, so I have to rearrange that. But you can follow me on Twitter at @thephil1, and you can see how I get into arguments with everybody online. But either way, I'll be back for our For All Mankind review on Tuesday. And
is that the got it. Okay. Sorry. Looked at your Chiron. Thank you.
Yes.
So Fleet Admiral Levi is the channel.
Gotcha.
And I'll be in the chat in a couple seconds.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Philip, for being here, and thank you for talking to me about For All Mankind on Tuesday.
Of course,
I'm so glad to meet you.
Very good to meet everybody else too, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yes, see ya. Oh, teeth.
Bye-bye.
Oh, gross. Oh, sorry, Phil.
So, like, I want to get a hat very much like Phil's, but I want it to be misspelled. I want the word writer to be misspelled, like with two R's.
With a Y. No, spelled with a
exactly. Y. Not where you think. And so, I do want a baseball hat that says writer and it's spelled wrong.
Hey, I wanna say hello to Sentai Ranger Donnie and also
Princess Fiona.
Here.
Princess Fiona, who always keeps my physics in check, and Penny.
Oh, Princess Fiona renewed her membership.
On this,
thank you so much.
What a weird choice.
It says she's a new member, but she used to be a member, so she's a member again.
Scotty, everything associated with you in your mind is a weird choice.
No, you don't want to be. You don't want to be between my ears by yourself. It's a terrible place.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Anyway,
how's that for a slice of fried gold?
Bingo!
There are always possibilities, Spock said.
Simple feeling. This unit is different. It is well ordered.
And I think
can you skip this slide very quickly?
This is
it's gross.
Really awful.
And
it's gross.
Triggering
it's gross.
For me. Yeah.
I know, but it's gross. That's it. Just,
I've had teeth removed,
it exemplifies
and this is awful.
Why this movie is terrible.
Well, no, but you want gruesome special effects to sort of elevate the tension.
So,
but I don't like that at all.
I know that Cinema Gulp is here. I don't think I don't know if I mentioned that he was here, but he was saying that this is his second favorite TNG movie or something, I think.
Makes sense.
But Admiral Teague says it was at this point I walked out of this movie. This was when Picard had all the things on his desk, the pads. And he wrote it off as a really boring dream. Okay, so where was I?
Actually,
I'm trying to figure out where I was.
No.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say I've never walked out of a movie. I was sitting in front of a I was sitting right behind a family.
Here?
I was sitting behind a family during Team America World Police, and in the puppet romance scene in the middle of the film. They walked out.
That is the best way to say it.
Or what to say, the parents took the kids out.
I would call it marionette fucking.
Scotty.
Yeah, watch it.
I was trying to reduce the need for post-editing, but
well, I'm already on the chopping block, so I figured I'd take the bullet, yo.
Well, Fleet Admiral Levi,
send me your address. I'll mail you a bullet.
Thank you.
I love you, Scotty.
I love you too.
I'm just not in love with you.
Moving on. No, that's fair enough.
Don't send the gun.
Anyway, moving on.
I'll swallow the bullet like an Advil. It'll be great.
Okay.
Richard Spick says the way they killed the Admiral is gross. I wish they would have left in how Rofo was supposed to die, though. Yeah, exactly.
But Richard
Scotty
Spade,
mentioned that
okay.
earlier, and we don't have time. I gotta finish this movie.
No, but I just want to
have
quickly.
time.
I want to quickly say it's weird when you see Admiral Dougherty and they stretch his face and all that jazz. But if you've seen the James Bond movie License to Kill, you've already seen Anthony Zerbe. His head explodes in that one, and it's so disappointing that a Star Trek movie cannot do a better death than a James Bond movie. Like it, why not just do it again? Blow up his head. It would be great.
Why couldn't they like fired him out of a torpedo tube into the atmosphere? I don't know.
Exactly.
They could have. The point is, they could have done better.
They could have just ejected him into space, and then he would have been like. Anyway, Jill, you're leaving.
Philip likes. Well, not yet, but I've got to. We're in the lightning round, but Philip says he does like his death in this, and the first day in kindergarten is tough. Yeah, no, it's the first week, and so I definitely can't be late for that, but I won't be. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna get through this, and we're gonna make it through Star Trek Insurrection somehow.
No, never give up, never surrender.
I know Scotty doesn't agree with me, but I think that this movie makes the Federation appear no different from Romulans with how low they're able to degrade themselves in working with morally bankrupt individual
You
species.
idealistic little person.
Yeah.
There are realities in this world, and there are people who stand on those walls, and I will defend. Like, I am so Luther Sloan. You hate Section 31.
I do hate Section 31, but I had to get my
You can't handle the truth, Scotty.
Exactly. I don't know how to do the entire I don't have the Colonel Jessup memorized, but that is exactly what I want.
You can't handle the truth. Wait.
Yes.
Anyway.
Okay. So
just leave
Max
Scotty in charge. Thanks, Booger.
Unfortunately, I have to be off. It is noontime here. I am trying to get my business started up this week, and I did most of the paperwork. And gosh, to bring it is a hard start up a business in California. So, but I'm glad I was able to get on here. And
can you change your avatar to something more personal to you?
Yes. Hold on. I will do that right now for you.
Like, don't make this about me.
No, Scotty. Hold on.
All right.
Okay.
That's better.
Yes.
Actually, that's still about me. Because it's Canadian money.
Scotty, it was never about you.
All right.
I love you, but I'm not in love with you, okay?
Fair enough. No, that's a good answer.
Good.
What were you saying? Promote yourself.
Okay. On Monday, 2:00 Western Pacific time, I'm going to be on that 70s rock fan we're discussing War Games, one of my favorite movies. And I'm just putting this out there as Saturday nights are kind of void for some of us. I'm not going to do Saturday Night Star Trek per se, but I'm thinking of doing a Saturday night art thing, just because it's been a long time since I've had an art collaboration thing, and I want to do my own thing on my own channel, and I have to start somewhere. So I am maybe not this Saturday, but possibly next Saturday. We will see. That is what
you're starting a channel. That's great.
I am starting my channel. So that is what I am going to start it with. So that is what I am working with. I'm working on my business, but I will definitely make the rounds when I decide what to do with it sometime in the next 2 weeks.
Okay. You'll have to get me the link to your channel because
absolutely.
If you can in the
It
private
shan't
chat.
be a secret.
I love you. You love me. We're all one big dysfunctional family.
Oh,
Well
Snortopus. I wish I had a big blubbery seal for you, but you can get those.
I want to sing a song from South Park, Bigger,
What
Longer,
kind of
and
art?
Uncut, but I'm pretty sure that no one would like it.
What kind of art? Princess Fiona wants to know.
What I do is I work with, it's photography. The thing that I work with is fluorescent paint and black light, and I have I have basically I take containers and I paint the inside, and then I take these panoramic cameras and I photograph the interior of them. And then the thing is with panoramic cameras, you can do so much in post with the manipulation of the actual subject matter. So I'm trying to see if I can fully live stream the experience. If if I could do it raw, if I could do the raw image, so I can manipulate it. And then, if people want to do VR and experience it their own way at the same time. So that's what I'm looking at right now. But in terms of just medium, I do photography. But what I love doing is blacklight and fluorescent paint, and it's very visually stunning. So
well, there you go, and you're going to share that, and that'll be awesome.
Yeah. So in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to get that started. So
very cool.
All right. Thank you.
Well,
thank
Max,
you.
you're always
What?
such a welcome
Oh.
addition. I love talking to
Yeah.
you.
And William Shakespeare has a request. Can you go back to the last Avatar for just a minute, just too long enough to get Scotty riled up again?
Oh, we're going to conserve the rile up energy.
Okay.
The last
Okay.
Avatar? What the hell? I don't even remember being riled.
Rile him. Okay. All right, kids,
Okay.
Reno, guys, girls.
I appreciate that you didn't.
Yeah.
And thank you. Thank you for hanging out and talking about this movie.
All right. Take care. Thanks for having me. I will see you all soon.
Oh, you definitely.
I hope so.
All right.
It was such a pleasure.
All right. Take care. Bye.
See ya.
So,
Yeah,
Jill,
let's
we're
get
on a
the
time
health through
limit.
this
We got to get
movie.
out of here.
I sped it up. This is gonna go faster now.
Okay.
So we're gonna get through the
So
back.
what are we doing?
How many people does it take, Admiral, before it becomes wrong? 1,000, 50,000, 1,000,000. How many people does it take? And so then Picard's removing his pips. He's decided to rebel, and everybody's rebelling because everybody's like a teenager, according to Data,
Yes.
except for him, obviously, because
Boobs
he's
are
an android
firm.
and he was never Data never tripped. He never knew what it was like to trip on his legs because his legs have always been the same size and
Same size.
and Gallatin says it wasn't easy to be among them. Just don't forget what they did to us. And Rafu doesn't
They
want to
didn't
bother
do
with the
anything
hollow
to you,
ship.
you fucking idiot. You left because you wanted to space travel, and they didn't want
Yeah,
to space
exactly.
travel.
Yeah, and, it was a society split between people who wanted technology and people who didn't. And
Yeah.
Rafu's just like, go ahead, just kidnap him. It's time to force him off the planet because we got to destroy
Yes.
this planet so that we can
So we get
harness this
the age
technology for
medicine.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Are
And
we
then
literally lightning
Rufo-
rounding through the plot?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, keep
So
going, keep going, keep going.
there's more flesh stretching sessions. It's yucky.
Yes.
And Picard is taking the captain's yacht.
This is
up
the
for
worst
Scarborough.
review of a Star Trek movie I have ever been a part of.
Well, because it's the worst. It's one of the worst Star Trek movies in general. So what's the problem with it?
Yeah, no, I don't have much of a problem. It is the second worst. Third worst.
Mm-hmm. Do machines ever play? They play for fun. But we talked about that earlier. So we already talked about everything that's good about this movie. There's nothing more to say. But
the only
we're going to be here for 20 more minutes anyway.
The only good thing about this movie is that it made me learn how to hacky sack.
Really? Did you learn to hacky sack because you were jealous of the children playing in this movie?
Well, that, and I also enjoyed marijuana, yes.
Okay, so this is for the rest of the movie. They're running around.
Do people hacky sack sober? I thought it was like prerequisite. When I bought my first hacky sack, they gave me a joint.
Yeah, no, I think people are sober when they do it, but basically for the rest of the movie, they're running to the caves, and some of them are transported.
She slows time. I forgot about the slowing of time.
What happens to all the Baku who get transported to the ship? Are they?
What?
No, nobody ever knows. I don't know. I guess.
You know what? You have a very valid point because they are all taking capture by the transporter tags.
Yeah,
And then
are
where do
they
they
on
go?
the ship that gets destroyed? Or do
Does the
they just
Enterprise beam
die?
them up? Like, there
No,
must be
the
a
Enterprise is
throwaway dialogue that says, "We beamed
no,
the
it doesn't.
Baku."
No, no,
You
no,
are
no,
you
no, no.
sure?
These people are just disposable because this movie doesn't really
Well, they're yeah.
pay attention. There are llamas.
There are llamas? Is
Yeah.
that what you said?
Yeah, there's
Hey,
a llama
Tony.
right there. I just saw it. Hey, Tony. No, I'm really just getting through this damn movie.
Oh,
None of
yeah,
the llamas are
your
transported.
slides are not on screen.
Okay. Oh shit.
But we're like, I thought we were leaving, so.
Oh no, we are leaving, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to see
See,
it.
look at them.
I described it, so you don't need to see it. Hello to
Yeah,
Tony.
exactly.
There was a llama. You just have to trust me.
Like, I enjoy the
My
fact
oh,
that
and Snortopoopas says my boobs are so firm. What's wrong with that? I didn't have boobs before. Snortopoopas.
can you play the piano anymore? Of course you can. Well, I couldn't before. I do
Supposedly
enjoy
they're
that
on the ship they captured.
people talk about the things that Star Trek has predicted, and I would like to say that these drones that are in Star Trek Insurrection predicted Obama's drones. Meanwhile, we missed Mr. Daniels.
Oh, okay. The only thing I like about the drones is the part of the movie where Worf takes a rifle and uses it like a baseball bat.
Yeah,
Against one
that's
of the
pretty
drones.
bitchin'. It is pretty bitchin'.
That's the only good thing about that entire thing.
Oh my stars, who was that?
Mm.
Go back to?
No, I can't. What do you want me to go back for?
Just one more. One more. No, you missed it. Never mind. That's her. Who is that lady?
I don't know.
I like her.
Yeah, I like her too.
She looked very, very into her character.
Mm-hmm. So they're rerouting the transport grid to avoid detection, and so they're doing the
Beverly
thing.
looks way too happy to be shooting.
Right. Well, she's happy that she doesn't have a frying pan this time when everybody else is doing sword fighting.
Makes sense.
So they're the Sona find out, and so
Stephanie,
this is the part where this is the part where the Sona where Rafa is just like kill them all, just fuck it.
They go ape shit.
Yeah, and the transport inhibitors get destroyed, so they're able to transport the.
There's
Baku.
Mr. Daniels.
Mr. Daniels. Oh, okay, you saw him.
Yes, I did. I'm looking at the screen and saying, "Yay! I saw a thing on screen." By the way, the warp core ejection, phenomenal.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But we only have one. We're fresh out of work, of course.
We've
dialogue
never,
in this
like,
movie is ridiculous.
Have you ever, like, they always threaten it's like we have to eject the warp core. Have you ever seen a starship eject the warp core? Aside from this film.
I was gonna say this movie. Yeah. Actually, Voyager's done it. But then
really?
they went back to pick it up. Yes.
It is kind of cute in this one. It's like, and we're all out of warp cores. So
it's
but Voyager ejected the warp core?
Yeah.
When?
I don't know. I think it's that episode where Tom and B'Elanna fall in love in the middle of space. That same episode.
Well, yeah, no, Tom ejected his warp core all the way up into B'Elanna.
They've okay, so this is where Rafu says the Federation
really
is old and
depends
you're
on
gonna
how
die.
dirty I am, and then you get concerned.
Because the card. Well, no, but I gotta go. Like
All
not
right,
yet.
all right,
But,
all right.
I got a time limit.
All right.
And so Rafu's saying, the Federation's outdated. You got to follow us. You should do what we say. And so it's just
can you do a poll? Can you do a poll in the chat?
What?
Well, I just want to know if the chat wants to, okay, which do you prefer? Clean shaven Riker or beard Riker?
Okay.
Beard
Hole in the chat for that.
or android's bottom.
All right, fine. I'll do it. You guys don't have a long time to vote in this poll, but if you wish.
Not at all. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Anti-Derivative Jill's channel. I would like to suggest that you like and subscribe, tell your friends, and also understand that I am here to annoy Jill in the most playful way possible. If you are not my cup of tea, I'm sorry. That's how Canadian I can be. Franco gets it.
Like who? Of course, I'd say with the who's. I'm surprised. I'll be surprised if anybody doesn't choose Beard. Gavin says I would pull on Riker's side from whoa.
Oh, Gavin, in the Defiant, when Riker pulls off, Thomas Riker pulls off the side, like the mutton chops, and he reveals he only has a Van Dyke. It's so good. I think, oh my stars, Jonathan Frakes, Commander Riker, probably my favorite character in Star Trek The Next Generation.
Whoa, Wes Cagle thinks this is better than The Search for Spock. I love The Search for Spock.
Wow.
Well, that's you know what? You're fantastic, Wes Cagle.
Yeah, it's bold.
I respect your opinion.
Yeah, but it's fun. Like the thing is, and this is why I like being a Star Trek fan, is like what you like about Star Trek is completely different than what I like about Star Trek. I like things that people do not like, and I'm like, get off my lawn. And same deal. So Wes Cagle, I am more interested to hear about bold affection than I am about birthday party clowns bitching about shit that they don't like, because that's lazy. It's lazy. Oh, did you see this? It sucks. It's like, yeah, no,
I don't mind hearing all opinions, even whether they're popular or not. Worf is going through puberty. I don't judge an opinion as being bad just because a lot of people share it. That's not a bad thing.
No, I do.
But
I grew up in the 80s and I like punk rock and I like bands before they were popular.
Yeah, so, okay, but it doesn't matter if it's a popular opinion. Sometimes
no, but if it's common to hate something, it sucks. It sucks to hear that opinion.
You could still, but you can still be an individual and have your own personal reasons for liking or disliking something, and it not having to do with anybody else and their opinion. Why do you have to?
Yeah, because I am defending myself as an individual as opposed to being a person who wants to follow.
People are unique, but it's not just.
Yes, it is. You talk about Kurtzman, people want to hate Kurtzman because it's fashionable.
Having a popular opinion is not an indication that you're following a trend. It's just,
Are you kidding?
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. This is absolutely bonkers. In order for your opinion to make any sense, you're saying in order for anybody's opinion to be valid, it has to be an opinion that nobody else shares.
It has to be original.
But it can be original.
It has to be individual and nuanced.
Yeah, exactly. And so you can have a popular opinion
because everyone doesn't like it.
Okay, but you can have a popular opinion, but that it's not. It's not because you're following anybody, and you can still have a nuanced reason for liking or disliking something.
But
what you're proposing,
again, this is
crazy.
What I'm proposing is crazy because I am a crazy person.
You are. Also, Worf is going through puberty. Philip Gaming.
He's my second favorite
Vulcan. Well, he's my favorite Krill. Even though he didn't show up on screen, I don't care. So everybody's going through puberty, the radiation on the planet.
I went through puberty. Like in this movie, do you want to talk about that?
In this movie, radiation is a good thing. Like, okay, thanks, movie. Magic radiation. Everybody's becoming superheroes. I don't know. No, not really.
Like, how long
But,
do we have?
Picard is attracted to Anij, and she's attracted to him. She rubs his head, which still doesn't grow any hair, even though Worf is growing hair, but
Yeah.
Picard is not.
Geordi grew eyes, but Picard cannot get a toupee.
No, you're right. Let's make this faster.
Well, no, I was going to go have a cigarette.
You can go do what you want.
Well, I don't know how long we're going to be going on.
I don't know either, but anytime
You
Anish
said
talks,
you were
I
in a
hear the
hurry.
Traveler stuff. That's why I'm talking about the movie and not talking
Okay,
about
you
how
go.
much of a
You go.
hurry I am.
I'll be back in a second, and then you take care of business, and then I'll come back.
All right.
Deal?
The commander says the Sona ships are on intercept course, but they can get okay, so Riker is somehow transmitting a message to Starfleet, even though they said they're 2 days away from Starfleet. So I'm not sure exactly the logistics of that, and I don't know. The Sona are sending photon torpedoes. They just go. They're on the killing spree now, and everybody's acting like I said. Everybody's acting like a teenager, which I guess maybe the script also. And they have to attack the drones. The Baku are being transported, tagged like animals, and transported somewhere. We don't know where they went or if they're ever returned, or really, we don't really get much resolution on to how the Sona and the Baku actually reconcile at the end. They really kind of don't. They kind of talk to one of them. I guess maybe there's hope that they're going to talk at some point, but I really don't know. And Brecker references the Briar Patch, but we mentioned that earlier, so I'm just repeating myself. But this was in my notes, so I'm just going. It's just a lot of pew pews at this point. This is the murder scene where Rafu kills the Admiral, finally using the stretchy face stretchy machine. And then there's a subspace tear that's forming due to a subspace weapon that was banned by the Khitomer Corps. But of course, that's the case. Nobody's following the rules in this movie. Nobody really cares about what the Federation really stands for. Geordi ejects the core. Oh, that's okay. See, I'm finally catching up to where what's going on here. And blowing the core works, but and they make it to the caves, but at least the movie knows that the ship will be able to use the sensors to know where they are, but then they just move to another cave. Oh, okay. I guess that's fine. Fine. Then we're supposed to care about the pockets of Metreon gas, and and that is obviously how we have our final action scene. Riker collects that gas. And the little kid goes back for his pet. Oh yeah, I forgot about that little pet, that little animal. It's kind of cute and kind of ugly at the same time. And of course, so they have this whole thing where you think that Anij is going to die because she goes back and gets the little kid, and everybody comes back for her, and they try to save her. But I guess she's fine because she's got all these genetic manipulations that make her more impervious to falling rocks. I don't know how that works exactly. She should be dead. I'm saying I want her dead, but those rocks probably would have killed her the way that she was knocked out. It like her life signs were faint, and then all of a sudden they weren't. Like, okay, we wanted this tension, but then we wanted this moment. But no, Picard can't lose his love, so he gets and of course he does lose her, except for that there's this promise that he's going to have extended shore leave amounting almost to a complete Earth year. So we're supposed to imagine this thing between Picard and this lady for almost a year, and I don't really want to. Does anybody else want to? I don't know, but if whatever it is, and they were transported together to the ship, the Sona ship, in order to and and let's see. Let me find out where we are and see if I can get my notes to catch up to where we actually are in the movie, where they find out that Ruffalo's been tricked this whole time and his ship isn't even real. It's just they're on the hollow ship and whatever. And oh yeah, there's that part where the admiral, before he dies on the stretchy machine, that he's tricked into believing that Ruffalo doesn't want to kill Riker or the Enterprise. He just wants to escort them away safely. And no, obviously, of course, that's not the case. And we get the whole thing with the warp core and all of that stuff. And there it is. And as soon as the Admiral turns on, yeah, so as soon as Admiral turns on bad guys, he gets killed. And they deploy the collector, which has a self-destruct sequence on it that Picard is able to eventually use to stop the machine from harvesting the radiation that they want to use to magically let people live forever. Oh, and the Sona ship, it's got some cool solar cells. I kind of do like the effects of the collector thing. Gallatin is turning against his commander because he doesn't want to kill his people. Obviously, like they're the Baku are Sona, the Sona are the Baku. So eventually, they're like, no, no, we actually don't want to kill each other. So we're gonna not do what Rafu says anymore. And so Picard says, if he doesn't realize something's happening, can you get me on the transmitter? I need to speak with Data and Worf down on the planet. So that's where Gallatin decides to go against the Rafu because he doesn't want to kill his own people anymore. Because obviously he already has, possibly. And so then he does help Picard. He helps Picard win the day. The movie is, gonna finish. Finally. We're almost there, guys. The ship, it's a holodeck. Freaking holodeck. And Picard intrudes. Action hero Picard is here. Engage action Picard with karate chop action. And Worf has to also beat up some of the Sona, and Picard climbs up. And Riker shoots the other ship, and the Sun Sail ship was destroyed. He's beamed out. Picard is beamed out by Worf. Rofo is destroyed along with that ship because only Picard was beamed off, and and the Federation finally says something. So there's proof that the Federation were on Dougherty's side. Unfortunately, to my dismay, the Baku relocation is halted for review. I guess maybe no one did a pre-review of it. They're just like, oh, we're going to trust you, Admiral, to do the right thing. We're not going to really look into what you're doing. But now they're finally going to look into what he's doing. So what's the deal with that? Does the Federation not preview what the admirals are doing before they do things? And then they transfer Worf and Baku to the Enterprise and back to the planet. And there's just too much bitterness to bring them back home. So they're saying there's no way. They're actually don't give hope that the Baku and Sona are going to reconcile at any point or any process.
Yeah.
How the healing process would occur, nobody really seems to care to explain. And Picard's gonna come back for shore leave to play with the lady that he was able to attain in this movie due to Patrick Stewart begging for one.
I do
It's a
have to
movie.
say that one of my favorite things
Did you
about
hear my entire thing? I hope you
No,
heard.
I wasn't listening at
No?
all.
I think it was good. I hope it was good because I just
I'm
rattled
sure.
everything off really quickly. I don't know if
But
it
there is one CGI effect that I think is phenomenal, and that is when the Enterprise E, and it's my only favorite Enterprise E moment, is when it is sort of riding the collector as the collector blows up and beams out Captain Picard. Like, I think that is one of my favorite Enterprise E moments. This movie does provide a lot of spaceship porn, and I like it.
I do like the look of one part of my description was that I did like the look of the collector. But I'm a sucker for solar sails. My favorite DS9 episode is Explorers.
You know what? That's a phrase that I was not expecting to hear today.
Okay.
I
Your
love
time is up.
solar sails.
That's true. And my time is up. We're at the credits. We've got
We're done. We're done.
We're
Thank
done.
you,
We're at
Donna
the credit. We're at the credits, and I do wanna mention the actors since we didn't talk too much about them. F. Murray Abraham, we did mention. Donna Murphy, we mentioned.
Greg
Anthony
Henry.
Zerbe,
If
we
you're a
did
Greg
mention.
Henry fan, you should check out the Mel Gibson movie Payback.
Yes, Greg Henry played Gallatin, the other Sona who eventually realizes his brother is a Demos. Okay,
Is that how you pronounce it? I thought it was pronounced gelatin.
Okay, gelatin's fine too. Not really.
Yeah.
I don't really care all that much.
It's like GIF or GIF. It's up to you.
Anthony Zerbe, Gallatin,
Yeah.
and then Sojif was played by Daniel Hugh Kelly. Artem by Michael Welsh. I had something about Martin. I do have to go, but I did have something on it that I didn't say earlier. He is played by Michael Allen Welsh, who won a Young Artist Award in the category Best Performance in a Feature Film, supporting young actor. Star Trek Insurrection was his first film, and he also played a cloned teenage version of Colonel Jack O'Neill in Stargate SG-1.
Are you talking about D. Elliott Woods?
No, I'm talking about Michael Welsh, who played the little kid.
Good for Michael Welsh. He is a Wesley surrogate, but I want to give a big ups to
that's not nice to him. He's not a Wesley surrogate.
I like Wesley Crusher. You don't. It's not my fault.
But he never saves the day or anything like that. So it's not like I don't really.
He makes Data feel like childish.
I like that.
Yeah,
that is sweet. It's a sweet storyline. So it's a kid who's actually acting like a kid. So it's nothing like Wesley. Mark Deakins plays Ternell. Perrin is played by Stephanie.
Okay, now you're just reading. If you're in a hurry,
yes, I am reading. I don't give a crap. I want to mention people. Michael Horton played Lieutenant Daniels. Bruce French, Sona Officer 1.
Sona Officer 1. He was my favorite Sona officer.
Rand Corman. Yeah, look at these officers. These are great officers. D. Elliott Woods. I feel like you said his name. Do you know him?
No.
Okay.
Well, I know he was Starfleet officer. That's all I know.
Yeah, he's Starfleet officer. The original.
You know what? I'm going to put that on my resume. I'm just going to put Starfleet officer.
Well, I don't know how well that's going to go over with your potential employers.
No. Jill, very brief story. When I applied for a job once, and I said I was like, it was like the postscript, and I was like Star Trek expert. And the manager who hired me said the reason she hired me is because of that. She was like, I have to know who has the balls to put Star Trek expert on their resume. And I was.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to stop the screen. I don't like this movie.
What do you give it out of 10? Or you know what? Not even
Ooh.
10. What do you give it out of 5? 2? Do you give it a 2?
Oh, see, I was gonna say 2 if it was 10.
Oh, really?
So,
So 1.
so yeah, 1.
I give this
Whoever
movie
said the human race was logical?
What do you give it?
3.
A 3. Okay.
I think that this movie is better than Nemesis. Actually, you know what? Now that I mention it, no, it's a 2. It's a 2. 2 out of 5. I cannot lap dance this movie more than it deserves. And
Yeah.
so if it's
Yeah.
out of 10, if it's out of 10, I give it a 4. If it's out of 5, I give it a 2.
Mhm. Well, oh yeah, that reminds me. Someone in the chat did say. I think when I was going through my descriptions, I was saying that Neej likes Picard, Picard likes Neej, and Neej rubs um, Picard's head. And someone in the chat said that she wants to rub his other head, and
She wants to put his other head in her mouth. Yes.
yes.
What I do not know, I find out from the computer banks.
Yeah.
I prefer following my dreams, my impossible dreams. But James Caserta says always follow your nightmares. F plus, this movie is hot stinky duty, and I've got to close. I've got to end the poll with 18 votes.
Yes.
77% prefer Wrecker with the beard. 22%
It makes
like
sense.
him clean shaven. So,
So there you go.
there are fans. There are fans
There
of
you go.
Wrecker without the beard. I got there were at the Star Trek convention. They had these little film reel thingies, these little itty bitty film thingies from the show, from the actual show reels. And I was like, "Who's this?" But it was Riker without a beard. It's like I almost didn't even recognize it because it was so tiny. It was a tiny little film thingy. It's like that beard is important to me. And I want to thank everybody who is here, everybody who is on the panel. I don't get a chance. I didn't get a chance today to say everybody's name. I wish I did have another hour and a half to talk to you guys. Because there's a lot of decompression to do with a discussion of this movie, but I think it got way more attention than it even deserves. So we're good. I think we're good. I think we covered it.
Thank you so much to Bubba Doom for your 5 bones. Thank you so much to Admiral Teague for your 4 bones. Scotty R37, shut up. Watch it. And thank you so much for Princess Fiona for becoming a member. You guys help make
you
this
for
channel
the
happen.
$1 super chat. Yeah, you do. You really do. It's very encouraging to me to have support in that form, and also in the form of just engagement in the chat or comments, following, likes, and whatever you want to do to show that you had a good time. If you had fun, I hope you like
I for one,
subscribe. The thing I'm supposed to say.
I for one don't like this channel.
Well, you don't like it, but you do enjoy being here. So I don't understand. It's not that you don't like this channel. Well, we frustrate each other, and that's why I think our discussions work so well.
Yes.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Let's go. We gotta go.
Let's go then.
Let's talk about this later. Let's put a pencil. Bookmark.
So I says to Mabel, I says, we'll finish this later.
Yes. So.
Oh, can you play the "Go Into Bed" song?
Going to bed? Who's going to bed? It's
Me.
You're going to sleep? Okay, fine. If you're going to bed, I guess some people in Britain might be going to bed. So I'll talk to you guys.
We're
next time.
international.
It's Friday. Tomorrow, tonight. Check out Doomcock on Friday Night Frolics and Stark of Iron. Tony afterwards he does his show. Then tomorrow, make sure to check out Cinema Gulp for their Alien review, which I am part of. I'll be there. I'm drinking alcohol in the video. It's neat. And also, Scotty, do you have anything you want to share?
Not
Here we
really.
go. Not really?
No.
Okay. And then
I'm
on
good.
Tuesday, I'm continuing season 2 of For All Mankind, and we'll probably do a shore leave
Oh,
next
wait.
Friday because there might be a
Cat
special thing on Saturday.
Cat would be so upset if I didn't say this. Next Thursday, we're
Sure.
doing on the Phantasmagorium show, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And yeah, subscribe to
Yeah.
Cinema Gulp.
Subscribe to Cinema Gulp, Phantasmagorium, and like Snortapoopus Cuber says, love long and perspire. See you later.
Learn all that is learnable.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on. Saddle up. Lock and load.
Going to bed. Gotta turn off the lights. Hey, there's TV. Gotta turn off the power. Hey, turning off things. Yeah, it's time for bed. So now, where's the sleepy place? It is upstairs, but I gotta make sure the door is locked, and now it's time for bed. Baxter, he's on the couch. He wonders why I'm singing. I'm going upstairs, and Baxter's coming with me. Just found a little poop. Gonna pick it up with my fingers and throw it in the toilet. Baxter is not to blame. Hey, buddy, you coming up? He's looking at me like I'm a crazy person. Come on, it's bedtime. Anyway, that's my song.
No matter where you go, there you are.